GP.
1, 2, 3.
FAB-Racing minibikes British Championship.
Hello and welcome to the 2025 MasterMac FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championships. It's been a long off-season, but we are finally back for the first round here at Lydd. We are moments away from going racing this year. But before we do that, let's head down to the paddock and speak to some of the riders ahead of the season. Here with Rex Austin at the first round of the 2025 MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship. Rex, it's been a long old winter, but we're finally back here. How are you feeling looking forward into the season?
I'm feeling great. I just want to have a good season, have fun. Yeah.
That's absolutely fair enough. Here at Lydd again for the first round. You got your hopes up here?
I'm just hoping to have a good few races. I'm not. Obviously, I'm going to try my hardest, I always will, but see what I can do.
And you mentioned you're racing on the 50 bike this year. Talk to us a little bit about the bike. How does it feel out there?
Feels a lot different to the Mini Moto, which I was riding last year. We'll get used to it eventually, already building up to it, so yeah.
So at the moment, is it just about getting out there, gaining some confidence on the bike and having some fun along the way?
Yeah, it always has been, but I'm always going to try race, win, but sometimes that almost won't happen, so I'm just going to aim for have fun.
And then next year we can see you mount the title challenge, maybe?
I'll try.
That's brilliant stuff. Thanks very much for talking to us, Rex.
It's okay.
My name's Taylor Davis and I'm new to the FAB paddock, and it's my first time ever coming to Lydd. It's about 4 hours for me. I'm really excited for race day and tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a good qualifying session in and get on the back of Harrison and everything, hopefully.
And what class are you in this weekend?
MK70 GP metric kits.
Nice. And what have you raced in before?
I've raced in the 90s and the 110s and the 160s in B&B, so it's like my first ever race season and race I've done on my metric kit.
And are you feeling excited being here at Lydd?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what the bike's going to react over the weekend and how we can improve on stuff.
And looking forward to the whole season ahead?
Yeah, I'm looking really forward to the season ahead, because I do some good tracks down at FAB, so I'm really excited. Thank you.
Here with one of our amazingly talented young female riders here in FAB Racing, Daisy Powen, racing in the Metrikit Mini GP 50s this season. Daisy, it's great to see you back in the FAB paddock. How are you feeling looking forward into 2025?
I feel great. I feel really confident. This is a good track to be the first round to go around and have a good race at.
How are you feeling looking forward into the weekend? Sorry, please start that again. Let's do that again. Right. Get the first one out of the way now. Right. And we are here with one of our amazingly talented young female riders here in FAB Racing. Daisy Powen returns in 2025 in the Metrikit Mini GP 50s. Daisy, it's great to see you back here again. How are you feeling?
I feel really confident, and let's just smash it this year.
Here at Lydd for the opening round, this is a track you're looking forward to racing at?
I feel confident at this track. I like this track quite a lot, and it's just quite fast.
And you're returning once again this year with the backing from House of Moto, who help support young female riders across the UK. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
So I'm lucky enough to be in their team again this year. They've helped me so much this year, like for on and off track, talking about things I need to be doing and like motivating me to do more faster things and better things.
And what can we expect from you throughout the season? Winning every race, maybe?
Well, let's try to do that, but I want to aim to get top 5 this season.
Well, fingers crossed. Thanks very much for talking to us, Daisy.
Thank you.
And now we are joined by a fresh face from the Powen family, Savannah, Daisy's younger sister, racing in the Rookies Cup this season. Savannah, how are you feeling at your first ever FAB Racing round?
Good.
That's great to hear. And again, you're joining your sister on the bike this season. Would you say that, she's helped you on your journey?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And what do you like so much about motorbike racing?
That you get to tuck in on the the straights, and you get to get your knee down.
That's great stuff. And who would you say your favourite rider is?
Probably my sister.
That's a great answer. I mean, your sister, she is some rider indeed. What are you hoping to do this season? Just go fast, win some races maybe?
Yeah.
That's great stuff. And are we expecting to see you, just like your sister, get quicker and quicker every year and win races across your career?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Savannah, and best of luck this year.
Thank you.
And joining us now is a returning face to FAB Racing. Randy, how are you feeling this week?
Yeah, good.
Good? And how are you feeling being back at Lydd Circuit?
I've done a faster time, and the last time I went out, I drew 1 minute.
That's really good, mate. And how are you feeling about qualifying and your race tomorrow?
I feel really brave and really confident about it.
And are you looking forward to the full season ahead?
Yeah.
And who would be your favourite rider?
Marc Marquez.
Marc Marquez. Brilliant answer, mate. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. And joining us now is a brilliant returning face to FAB Racing, Mason. How are you feeling today?
Good, you?
Good, yeah, very good. Thank you very much. How are you feeling being back at Lydd?
I love this track. It's a really nice track, yeah.
And looking forward to the season ahead?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
And what are your goals this season? What do you want to achieve?
At least top 5 in the championship in 50 Rs, and maybe top 5 in the 50s as well.
Brilliant. Good luck to you, mate. And have you got a circuit that's your favourite to ride at?
I really like Three Sisters.
Yeah?
And I like Clay Pigeon.
Lovely. That's brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. Good luck.
Joining us now is Bradley Curtis racing in the Mini GP 50s and 50R class. Bradley, great to see you here once again. How are you feeling? Looking forward to the 2025 season?
I'm feeling good. I went out in that last session and broke my own lap record, so I'm looking forward to it on the weekend.
So, starting 2025 off with a bang. You're clearly enjoying your time here at Lydd so far. As you said, new personal best lap round here. So, you got some confidence on board for the weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that I'm going to get pole and qualifying tomorrow. But I'm going to get a bit more tired because I'm doing 2 groups. So
we'll have to wait and see. Let's talk a little bit about, last year on the off-season. You had a strong season last year. Of course, I'm sure you've continued that work over the winter to be where you are today.
Yeah, we went out to spin to do some work, and last year this year I'm just trying to beat all my records of last year and try and get a bit more podiums.
So plan is podium every race, break your lap records, win the championship, take all the money, take all the fame that comes with it.
Yeah.
That's brilliant stuff. Just quickly before we depart, you said that you're racing in 2 categories this year, the 50 and the 50R. Do you think that amounts maybe a little bit of an extra challenge, or is it just something you're looking forward to, more time on the bike?
More time on the bike. I'm looking forward to the 50R. I've been practicing on it a bit more and I just feel more confident. But then the 50, I know I can ride it harder because it's less powerful. So, yeah.
That's brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Bradley. Best of luck out there this weekend.
Thank you.
And joining us now is someone who's his very first year in FAB Racing. Chase, how are you feeling today?
Good.
And are you looking forward to racing at Lydd for the first time?
Yeah.
And what is it you're racing in?
10
And are you looking forward to the season ahead?
Yeah.
And is there someone who is your favourite rider?
Marc Marquez.
Thank you very much. Good luck this weekend.
Joining us now, James Dermott. James, great to have you back here at FAB Racing in 2025. How are you feeling? You look pretty comfortable at the moment.
Yeah, I'm good. Just crash collided with Danny and Tommy. So, yeah, I'm feeling better.
Oh, shame to hear that you had a little bit of a crash, but you know, you stood here, you seem all okay. You looking forward to the weekend?
Yeah, I'm really trying to persevere through the injuries.
That's great to hear, of course. You know, you've got to keep pushing, you've got to keep fighting even when you're hurting. How are you feeling here at Lydd then? Is it a track you're confident at?
Yeah, I think I can still improve with a few corners, but I'm feeling quite comfortable.
Where are you aiming to finish this weekend?
So a podium would be quite nice, but everyone's trying to win, so a first place finish would be very nice.
That is great to hear. And I guess, is that the plan for the season in general? Podium and win?
Yeah, we'll try our hardest to at least finish in the top 3 for this year.
That's great stuff, James. Thank you very much. We'll see you out on track.
Okay, goodbye.
Joining us now here at Lydd is Caden Bailey. Caden, how are you feeling here at the first round of 2025?
Good.
That's great to hear. Have you been out on the track yet?
Yeah.
How did you find it?
Huh?
How did you find it?
Pretty good.
And is Lydd a track that you like?
Yeah.
You're racing in the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup this season, so you'll be around a lot of other young riders. Is that a challenge you're looking forward to?
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And what's your favourite thing about bike racing?
That you can get your knee down and enjoy it.
That's great to hear. And is the speed something you like as well?
Yeah.
What would you say you want your career to be? Do you want to be in Moto GP one day?
Yeah.
And who's your favourite rider?
Marquez.
That's a great choice. Well, maybe one day you can be racing along with him, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Katie. We'll see you out on track.
Bye.
Joining us now, the 2024 FAB-Racing Rookies Cup Vice Champion, El Toro Emilio Pereira, racing in the 50s this year. Emilio, first of all, bit of a jump straight onto the 50s this season. You must be full of confidence, though.
Yeah, I'm full of confidence, especially since now I'm onto a bigger bike and now I can come into corners higher. I feel like I'm flying.
That's great to hear. You had a pretty good weekend here last year at Lydd. You looking to improve on that this year? More podiums, more race wins, perhaps?
Yeah, this time I'm aiming for a podium or a top 5.
I'll have to wait and see. How's the practice sessions been so far for you?
I was 10th in the second last one, but this one I was 9th.
So you're seeing some improvements out there, which is great to see. What's the game plan for this season in 2025? Is it maybe just getting a bit more used to the 50s, or are you just going out there straight away hunting for race wins, perhaps?
I am going out there hunting for race wins, but at the same time, it's just a learning year. The second year is when I'll be fighting for podiums and wins.
So any race win that comes, you know, obviously you'll be very happy, but this year it's all about just learning the new bike, learning to be on a bigger gear bike, getting used to it, getting used to the tracks, getting used to going a bit faster. That's great stuff. Thank you very much, Emilio. I can't wait to see you out on track in 2025.
Thanks, bye.
Joining us now is a young lady who's her very first season here at FAB-Racing. Keely, how are you?
Good, thanks.
And are you looking forward to racing this weekend?
Yeah.
And is there one particular race you're looking forward to the most this season?
I'm looking forward to going. I quite like this track. Yeah, because it's nice and wide, and I like wide tracks.
And have you got anything you want to achieve this season in particular?
Yeah. Trying to get in top 10 is what I want to do, but I don't know.
And if you had to choose one rider of all time, who's your favourite?
Jorge Martinez from MotoGP.
And another rookie joining us now. We have Theo Tyler here at Lydd. Theo, how are you feeling today?
Good.
That's great to hear. And you're joining us for the 2025 FAB-Racing season. Are you excited?
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And what do you love so much about bike racing?
Going fast on them.
That's great to hear. And do you want to maybe ride in MotoGP or World Superbikes one day?
Yeah.
Who would you say your favourite rider is?
Marquez.
Why do you like Marquez so much?
Because he wins.
And do you want to win as well?
Yeah.
And do you think you can win this weekend?
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And do you think you can win across the season?
Yeah.
That's brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you out there.
Thank you.
Now joining us, one of our Moto Team riders from Time Bomb Racing on the AAA, it is Madison Martlew. And Madison, great to have you back with us here in 2025. You've just come off of the track for your final practice of the day. How's things looking for the team?
Not too bad. Everything's running right as it should do. All tyres are all good and all that. Nothing's broken. That's a plus.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you want the bike to be running. That's a good start. And you did just say to us a moment ago before we started the interview, you got a new motor in the thing. So is that feeling good? Yeah,
it's running well. It's running as it should. So the old one just died on us, so got a whole new engine in it.
What's the plan then for 2025? New engine, go out there, win some races with it?
Win's a bit of a stretch, but I'll have a go.
And how's things feeling so far here at Lydd? You feeling confident on the bike?
Yeah, not too bad. Shaking off the dust. I mean, I'm not sat on a bike for 7 months, so...
So is it more about just kind of getting on there this weekend, getting the confidence back, just seeing how it runs?
Yeah, just making sure everything's right. I've got new leathers and that this year as well, so breaking them in.
Because I was going to say, because I didn't recognise you from afar because of the new colours on you. Great to speak to you, Madison. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, nice one. See you later.
And now joining us on the bright blue colours of Team FAB-Racing, it is Marco Pandolfo. Great to have you here with us once again in 2025. How's things feeling on the number 8 bike?
Great, to be honest. Today the feeling is good. We did some tweaking on the gearing, but can't complain. I think we're fast enough to be there out there tomorrow to compete.
That's great to hear. And I guess, as always for Team FAB-Racing, you guys want to be competing on the number 8 bike. Is that what you're going to be doing in 2025, be up the front?
Let's hope so, yeah. We will try our best to do that, yeah.
And let's talk. You just said a moment ago you've got some new gearing on the bike. So have you done much work on it over the winter?
No, we didn't have much time, to be honest, during the winter. So it's all thanks to Keith. It's all ready now, and we're going to get the best out of this package.
Well, so I guess it's kind of a test it over the first race and see how it works kind of thing.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And coming forward into another season, then few changes in the calendar, but back here at Lydd, how was it for this time for you last year?
I wasn't racing last year, unfortunately.
That tells you all you need to know, really, doesn't it? So, kind of shaking off the cobwebs a bit then around here.
Yes. But I like this track. I've been racing in previous years, so just getting used to it again. It's been great to be out there again. Yeah.
So, just excited for the weekend, hoping you can pick up some strong positions then.
Yes, let's hope so. Thank you.
That's great to hear. Thanks very much. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Joining us now, fresh off the track, is Harrison Quinty. Harrison, how's things going out there so far at the opening round of 2025?
So far, so good. Got some good laps, got some good positions, but yeah, that's about it.
And coming in, fresh season, we're here at Lydd, the opening round. You feeling confident on the bike at the moment?
Yeah, so far, don't need any changes, feels good, so yeah.
What's the game plan this weekend? Go out, ride fast, win some races maybe?
Maybe not win, but get top 5 hopefully, and yeah.
So is that kind of the aim for the season in general as well, just aiming for the top end of the field and just get some time on the bike, keep improving?
Yeah, that's probably about it really, just do well.
And how are you finding things here at Lydd so far? It's very, very fast track, but it's quite popular with riders. Is it one that you enjoy?
Yeah, probably one of my top 3 favourites. It is a very good and fast and flow track.
Well, one of your top 3 favourites. Let's see if you can make the top 3 out on track. Thanks for talking to us.
That's right. Thank you.
Joining us now, Harrison Day, one of the many young hotshots here at FAB-Racing in the Metrokit Mini GP70s. Harrison, just been speaking to your dad very briefly. He says you're a 1/10 of a second off of the lap record here at the end of Friday practice. You're clearly feeling pretty confident on the bike out there.
Yeah, I'm actually coming into this weekend. I'm not being too overconfident. I'm just trying to have some fun. And then we just gone out and I've gone fast and then I've managed to do a 40.
Not bad going that, pretty quick time. So, I mean, even though you say you're not going into overconfident, you're keeping it calm, collected, I mean, the lap times speak for themselves. So you're looking for some race wins out there today or this weekend, perhaps?
I mean, we'll see.
I don't want to say anything. Just gonna let it go.
What's the game plan for 2025 then? Across this season, are you going to be hunting for championship maybe?
I want to try to get a championship, but like I said, I'm just having fun this year.
That's a great mindset to have. Let's talk about last season. Of course, you had a great year. I'm sure you've been building over the winter as well, so, you've got that background on you, and you've been on the bike as well a lot. So, are you looking to build on where you were last year, or again, just more of the same, just out there, have fun? You're not really fussed about how well it goes?
Well, obviously, I'm trying to go fast, but I'm going to try beat my lap times from the year before. So, like, this year, I've already beat my lap time by, like, 2 seconds, a second and a half, so, yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely flying then, clearly. Well, we'll see how fast you go out there this weekend and across the rest of the season. Harrison Day, best of luck across 2025.
Thank you.
Joining us now, a bit of Fab Racing royalty, the reigning Mini GP70 and Extreme 200 champion, Wilson Dilks. Wilson, great to have you here with us in 2025. You're out there running the Extreme 200 once again this weekend. How are you feeling?
It feels good. I'm only 1/10 off the lap record, so it's going good so far.
Well, we know what you could do on the bike. Great to hear that you've still got your pace after the winter. What's your plan looking like in 2025? Are you maybe moving on to some bigger and better things? Are you still going to be around here at Fab for the whole year?
I think I'm going to do a couple rounds in Fab, but I'm going to Italy to ride a GP7, so hopefully that'll be fun.
So getting your kind of testing out the European competition, seeing what it takes out there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great to hear, but along the way you may be trying to pick up another Extreme 200 title?
Hopefully, but...
That's great to hear. Well, thanks very much, Wilson. We'll see you out on track.
Yeah, thank you.
Another returning face in 2025, Joey Athasic racing in the AC40 Pros. Joey, great to have you back. We're here at Lydd once again to kick off the season. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Hopefully this year in the top 3. This year we have 2 main contenders for the championship, and hopefully we can hang on to the back of them and take the top 3.
So you mentioned already you think you've got 2 main contenders. Who do you think they're going to be?
Henry Brody and Tommy Williams.
Do you think you can beat them though?
At the minute I don't know. It'll wait up to the qualifying and I'll see if I can match up with the pace with them.
Well, we've just come to the end of Friday's action. You've been on the bike practicing. How's it feeling out there at Lydd?
Well, the final 2 sessions we had 2 red flags, so them 2 sessions, our first red flag, it was going really good until it got red flagged. Obviously the final session, it was they said it was going to be another session, so thing is everyone probably did like 1 or 2 laps on the track, but then that's when someone crashed and it got red flagged.
So maybe still a little bit of work to do tomorrow in qualifying?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for talking to us, Joe. We'll see you out on track.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Oscar McAllister, back again for another year. How are you feeling this year?
Really excited, and I'm ready to get out on the bike.
And what is it you're racing in this year?
The 50R class.
And how are you feeling being back at Lydd?
I'm really excited because this is a really good track, and really excited, yeah.
Now, I've heard a little story that after we at Motorsport Media interviewed you last year, you've become head boy at your school. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, that is true. I got all my head teacher saw, and she said, "Do I want to become head boy?" Yeah.
And what are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Getting a good result, just coming, having a good time, and just riding well, really.
Hoping for a good, strong season this year?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get top 5, but anywhere above that I'm all right with.
Brilliant. Good luck to you this season, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you. Bye.
Joining us now for his 3rd year with Fab Racing is Tommy Williams. How are you feeling today, Tommy?
Good, thank you.
And how are you feeling being back at Lydd for this season?
Quite good. I enjoyed it last year.
And you're in the pros this year, aren't you?
Yeah.
And how have you found doing practice so far?
I found it quite nice, but the fourth No, for practice, I had a big crash and I was one of them who caused the red flag.
Feeling all good now though? Feeling better? Bike all okay?
Yep.
And have you got a course that you're most looking forward to race at this season?
Ella Park.
Why is that?
Because I've enjoyed it there and I got my first podium and my first win there.
Brilliant, good luck for this season.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Riley Paisley, back again for FAB-Racing. How are you feeling today, Riley?
Quite confident because I've just came back from Teesside last weekend and got 5th overall, and I came here and I was straight on it in first practice, and then I carried that through all day. So I got down to the 43s on my 70 and the 44s on my 50.
Very good. And now you're doing the 50s and 70s this year, aren't you? Yeah. Have you got one that you find you prefer a little bit more?
Probably the 70 because it's got more speed and I like more speed, so yeah.
And how are you feeling being at Lydd this weekend? Is it a circuit you prefer?
Yeah, I do like it because of the chicanes and stuff, but it's also got the long, well, not quite long, but the straight, so that's good because top speed, and then it's a good track because of all the chicanes and stuff, so yeah.
Good luck for this weekend and we will see you racing.
Thank you.
Another familiar face here at Lydd, Harry Payne, racing in Extreme 200s this weekend and this season. Harry, great as always to see you here in FAB-Racing. How are you feeling, looking forward?
I'm feeling confident this weekend because I'm not doing multiple classes. When I was doing multiple classes, it was more tiring than just doing one class, which is Extreme 200s this weekend.
And that's something that a lot of people don't often think about, is the fact that, riders out there doing 6 races sometimes in one weekend, it can really take it out of you.
Yeah, when I was doing the 50s and 70s, it was really tiring because on the 50s you have to push really hard, and on the 70s you have to push really hard as well. So it just wear you out, and in the last few races you don't do as well as you would do if you was just doing one class.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the bike feeling then so far this weekend?
Yeah, it's feeling really good. Since last year, we had the handlebars on the Supermoto the right way round, but we switched it in the winter, and now it feels a lot better, and I'm doing a lot better as well.
So, look for some podiums, race wins maybe?
Yeah, hopefully.
And is that just the plan for the season as well? Just be up the front, out there, going fast, winning things?
Well, yeah, I'm not doing every round. It's just a few rounds that are the close ones, because I'm mainly doing races on my Kawasaki, so for FAB it'd just be to have fun and get podiums.
Well, it's great to have you back nonetheless. Thanks, Harry. We'll see you out on track.
Thank you.
Maxwell Keats here racing in the Elites in 2025 and FAB-Racing. Maxwell, good to see you back here once again. How are you feeling here at Lydd?
Good.
That is great to hear. You've been out on the bike today. Is it all going okay?
Yeah.
That's great. And you expecting to be fast here?
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Is Lydd a track you like?
Yeah.
Would you say it's your favourite track on the calendar?
Probably not.
What's your favourite track then?
Lydd, maybe. I like it.
We are in Lydd.
Oh no, sorry. Ella Park. Yeah, wrong one.
To be fair, Ella Park is a great track. So we're expecting you to win when we get to Ella Park later in the season?
Hopefully.
I'll have to wait and see. Thank you very much, Maxwell.
Nice.
Another double class rider here with us, Frankie Watson, racing in the Mini GP 50 R class, new for 2025, and in the Mini GP 70s. Frankie, great to have you here with us once again this season. How are you feeling looking to the opening round?
I'm feeling good, thank you. Lydd's one of my favourite tracks. There's not a lot of stop-start corners, so you can flow, and yeah, I'm hoping for a few podiums and maybe a win.
Obviously, you're racing on both of the Mini GP classes this weekend, but there's a little bit of difference between them. Do you want to just talk to us about the differences between the bikes?
So in the 50R class this year, I've decided to race the 160 in it against the 50s. So the 160s are 4-stroke and it's only got 4 gears, so it's much better out of the corners, and the 70 and the 50s much better through the corners and on the top speed.
Is there anyone that you prefer riding in general, or is they both just fun?
They're both fun, but I'd say the 70s slightly better.
What's your hope for this season then? Where are you looking to be come the end of the year?
Well, unfortunately, I'm missing 2 rounds of FAB, so if I could get top 3 in the championship, that would be amazing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Thanks very much, Frankie.
Thank you.
Joining us now is 4-time champion Jamie King. How are you feeling this weekend, being back at Lydd after the winter break?
Yeah, it's good to be back. We were racing last weekend in a different championship, but it's going really well today. I've gone quicker than I've ever gone round this track. I think it's to do with us starting a bit later in the year. The temperatures are a bit more higher than they usually are. We normally start in March and it's cold and horrible. So, yeah, it's been a really good day today and feeling confident for tomorrow.
And any changes to the bike this year? Anything you're running differently that you think might be helping you out?
Yeah, we've made a few changes to the bike this year. It's we've gone for a different ignition timing this year, which people watching might understand, some might not. But yeah, it's definitely made a help. We've done some tyre pressure changes today, which have really made a massive difference as well. So it's obviously clearly worked because we're going quicker than we've ever gone round here. So we're going to try a few things in practice tomorrow before qualifying, but all in all, really happy with the bike.
And do you think Lydd is a circuit which plays well to your strengths, or do you think you'll have another one later in the championship that might suit you a bit better?
I really enjoy riding around Lydd. It is a mega track, but also Chris, who you'll see me battling with tomorrow, he's also very quick round here as well. So it's going to be a good battle. I think we're pretty close today. He's just had the edge on me today, but it's gone pretty well. Round 2 is my home track, Ella Park. I only live 10 minutes down the road, so that's the one I really want to win at. But obviously I want to win everywhere, but Ella Park's the one that I think I have the best advantage at.
Yeah, brilliant. So good luck for this weekend.
Good luck for you for your first weekend presenting as well.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
On the road to MotoGP.
1, 2, 3.
FAB-Racing minibikes British Championship.
It's been a long time, but finally we are back. Hello, one and all, and welcome to round 1 of the 2025 MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship. We are here nestled at the most southernmost point of the county known as the Garden of England, the Lydd Kart Circuit in Kent, and we will be here bringing you all of the action across today, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday's racing. You join myself, Ross McIntyre, and alongside me, Izzy Higgs in the commentary box. Izzy, great to have you here with us this weekend. How are you feeling? Looking forward to the opening of the season?
Very, very, very much so. Looking forward to this weekend. We have got some beautiful weather here in Lydd, and it'll be brilliant to see some of the excellent racing we will have taking place.
Absolutely, of course. A little bit windy, as you can tell from the flags. It always is a little bit windy here at Lydd. We are quite close to the coast. It's just part of where the track lies in the world, but lovely, lovely weather. We're starting the season a little bit later than normal, so lap time's really, really quick at the moment because the temps are a little bit higher, bikes are running that little bit smoother. So lots of people at the end of Friday practice smashing their personal best around here. Few people are getting very close to the lap records already, so we could be seeing some very, very quick and furious racing. We're just coming to the end of our final few qualifying sessions. We've got 2 left to run after this one. That'll be Quali 2 for the Mini GP70s and the Mini GP50 R class, a new class for this show. I'm sure we'll touch on that in a moment, before we have all of the race 1s coming your way this afternoon, and then all of our race 2s and race 3s across Sunday. It's a great weekend to be into motorsport here. Of course, we're back in FAB Moto GP over on in Jerez, and of course we'll be especially cheering on our boys in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Sullivan Mounsey, of course, returns for a second season, and Lucas Brown as well, the current RNG British Talent Cup champion. He'll be making his debut there at Jerez, and we are so excited to see what they can do representing Britain on an international stage. And of course, well, on the subject of the British Talent Cup, if you're new to FAB-Racing, if this is your first time tuning in, this is the place to be if you want to get a start on a bike racing career. FAB-Racing since 2004 has been the primary proving ground for grassroots bike racing in the UK since 2019. The champion of the RNG British Talent Cup has been a FAB-Racing graduate. We've had riders in MotoGP, World Superbikes, British Superbikes. These are the stars of tomorrow that we are watching now. And of course, we've got some older riders out there as well to continue on with the fun. But Izzy, another one of our qualifying sessions underway,
yes,
and it should be very exciting.
It will be indeed. So right now we have just got the Mini GP 50 qualifying session starting. They are just on their first lap at the moment, and we will wait and see what sort of times people are starting to put up.
Absolutely. An 11-minute session awaits them, and of course, how the regulations work here in FAB, you take the best lap time from either of the sessions, and that is the lap time that decides where you are on the grid for all 3 races. So if you started from the pole, have a bit of a bad race 1, don't worry, you'll be there race 2 and 3 as well. This, it must be said, a new class for this year. This is Mini GP 50R. It's an upgraded Mini GP 50, so to speak, where you can now fit up to a 28mm carb on your Metric Hit Mini GP 50 bike, or you're also able to race the 4-stroke Avali 140s or 160s. So, of course, a little bit of class difference there as well. 2 different bikes, 2-stroke against 4-stroke, only 4 gears on the Avali bikes as well. So that's something to keep in mind, to see the differences between the bikes. But, of course, if you do have an Avali, you're more than welcome to come down to FAB-Racing and give it a go here in this new class. And then afterwards, of course, we've got the big boys in the Mini GP 70, the most prestigious category here at FAB-Racing, and one that is sure to be very exciting in 2025. Man, oh man, it is great to be back here at Lydd. Of course, let us know where in the world you are watching from. Let us know who you're supporting, and let us know who you think is going to be on top this season. It should be really interesting to see how it all unfolds. But, of course, Izzy, it's the start of the season. Of course, a lot of development over the winter, but few riders may be shaking off a bit of the rust, but overall, everyone's in a really good mood here this weekend.
Yeah, like you've seen earlier on our interviews, when we've been out speaking to some of the riders, they are all really, really looking forward to getting started for this season and are feeling really good going into this weekend. I mean, let's just mention in the qualifying at the moment, Sebastian Gazlowski has just put a fastest time of 43.324 up.
Yeah, clearly feeling confident is Super Seb on the 64, potentially one to watch this weekend and this season. But of course, still 8 minutes to go, still time for the riders to keep pushing onward. See Riley Paisley diving into the pit lane there in the background. A big hello to any of our former riders who may be tuning in online, especially anyone who's perhaps off at Jerez this weekend. We hope you're enjoying. We hope maybe we will see you back in the FAB paddock at some point in the future this year. Of course, Filip Sorowiak gracing us with his presence this weekend. He's not racing. We might see if we can nab him in to the commentary box for a quick word maybe later on. But of course, a fantastic rider from FAB, one of the real hopefuls for the R&G British Talent Cup Championship this year. Great to have Filip joining us. And of course, as we have in the past, I'm sure we'll have many a rider from FAB in the past coming along, and either just coming along for a watch, seeing some old friends, or as we often see nowadays, helping young riders improve and showing their skills, showing how they can become better racers. 7 minutes 30 to left to go in this qualifying session. Gazlowski still absolutely dominating at the top of the timesheets. Well, 3/4 of a second now ahead of Bradley Curtis in P2. Mason Frederick currently P3. He is a further 3/4 of a second behind. So Gazlowski setting the timing sheet alight early doors in the Mini GP 50Rs. This, of course, our second to last qualifying session. We'll have the Mini GP 70s just after these. And then, Izzy, time to go racing.
Oh, I am very much looking forward to it. We have seen some brilliant times put on the grid so far over this weekend. And currently, like Ross said, Sebastian Gazlowski is topping the sheets at the moment, and we will see what happens later on today. It can all change when it comes to racing. You never know what is going to happen.
Well, that's one way to put it. Anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. Is a slightly changed wording for a very famous quote there. As coming to a stop there at the side of the track. That's the 991 of Rex Austin. One of the roving marshals there in the yellow, just going over to check everything is okay. Looks like a slight bit of a bike problem. Of course, a big thank you to all the marshals here this weekend, and a big thank you in advance to all the marshals across the season. Obviously, the trackside marshals in the orange, and then the roving marshals, often parents within the FAB Racing paddock, donning the yellow high-vis that go out for the junior classes to make sure that the racing is safe and sound. We couldn't be here without them, so thank you very much. Of course, a big thank you to the medics as well for everything that they'll be doing, but hopefully we won't be seeing much of them this season. of course. Now, it must be said heading into this new category for the Mini GP 50R that there have been a few issues with some of the bikes. Of course, with these upgraded 50 bikes with the bigger carbs on them, riders have been trying to push more and more power out of the bikes. We had a few engine seizes yesterday, a few engine problems, so it's just trying to get these almost reliability teething issues out of the way early doors.
Definitely. That is. Can we just say a big thank you to our sponsors for this weekend? We have got MasterMac Surfacing sponsoring the whole series. We have also got Amphibian Scaffolding. Get in touch with them for all of your scaffolding needs. We've got Britson Electrical Services, and we've got a few riders on the grid sponsored by them, and also Grassroots to Grand Prix, who are sponsoring us this weekend.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, a big thank you to all of our sponsors for helping to support the young riders here at FAB-Racing and helping them to pursue their dreams and a career in bike racing. And it really does go a long way to see Fabs grow year on year and to, have all this help from the sponsors to keep it growing and keep the riders pushing to further and better heights. 4 minutes and 45 left in this session. Again, one more qualifying session after this one if you are just joining us. And then we are go in 2025. And boy, oh boy, should be very, very exciting. Of course, back here at Lydd, it must be said, as always, 2 different layouts that we're running this weekend. The bigger, the geared bikes, they're using the outer layout that we see here at 1,040 metres, a little touch over a kilometre. The Mini Motos, they also use the slight infield circuit that adds another 400 metres onto the layout. So if you see some of the Mini Moto guys diving off to the right-hand side down the back straightaway and thinking, where are they going? Don't worry, they are using that layout. It's just a bit of difference, just a bit of change. But Lydd, it must be said, regardless of what layout you're using, a very, very quick track. It's a track that will punish you if you push too fast. Not that much undulation, it's quite flat, not a lot of bumps, but a lot of stress going through that front tyre especially. It can throw you off if you try to test it too much. And we have seen some big offs in the past. We've seen some big names get caught a cropper out here. So we'll have to see what the riders can do after a season of work. If you are just joining us, yes, FAB-Racing is back in 2025. Hello and welcome to the opening round here at the Lydd Kart Circuit. You join myself, Ross McIntyre, Izzy Higgs alongside me in the commentary box, bringing you all of the action. Izzy, sun going away a little bit, but the weather's still lovely, and as we said earlier, spirits very high.
Definitely so. It is the first weekend of the season after all. We are here in Lydd, and as you were just saying, a very quick circuit. Looking at some of the lap records held here, we are in, I think, for a very exciting weekend of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be fast and furious, as it always is at Fab. It is so great to be back, it must be said. It seems too long since we were last out here. Of course, starting a little bit later this season at the back end of April. Let's run through the calendar with you while we're here. Of course, here at Lydd for the opening round, round 2, weekend starting at May the 30th and heading over to June the 1st. We'll be heading to Ella Park. Round 3, we're going to Hooton Park, Ellesmere Port, also known as, on the weekend starting on the 4th of July. So if you're watching from the US and sat down celebrating independence, why not tune into some Fab-Racing while you're there? Round 4 sees us return to Dorset and Clay Pigeon at the start of August. The 1st to the 3rd will be there. Round 5, going up north, the northernmost part of the country, Rowra in Cumbria, a track that's always popular, August 15th, 16th, 17th. And then round 6 and 7, both at Three Sisters, but not a double header. Round 6, we go Friday the 12th of September across to Sunday the 14th. Round 7 at the start of October the 9th till the 11th. So although we'll be at the same circuit, could be different conditions, could throw things, mess things around a little bit.
Very much so. Ross, do you think there's one that you're looking forward to the most this season? You are very experienced now.
Well, I've certainly done my fair share of Fab-Racing. I mean, obviously, it's always great being here at Lydd. It's the classic opening round of the season nowadays. It's a circuit that offers lots of racing, especially on the bigger gear bikes, the pit bikes. I mean, cast your mind back a few years ago, we saw Reese Peacock with that outrageous move on the final corner of the final lap to take the race win. It's just completely crazy around here sometimes. Rara was always a personal favourite of mine as well. It's the most picturesque racetrack in the country, as I like to call it. But those final 2 rounds at Three Sisters, it is big, it is bad, it is fast, and it is a real challenge for the riders, but it is one that they enjoy. And again, the fact that we're going there at 2 different times a month apart, when especially September to October we see a big drop in the weather, maybe some clouds, maybe some rain rolling in, that could cause a bit of chaos, make it exciting to end the season.
Definitely so. Rain is always the one to look out for, I think, because you can have someone leading and a drop of rain can hit and everything can change. It is very unpredictable.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. It's the great equaliser, as it is known in motorsport. It just brings everyone down to the same level. It's much less about what the machine under you can do and really how brave are you behind the handlebars on the bike. We've got 20 seconds left in this qualifying session, so riders will be putting in their last-ditch attempts. It is still Sebastian Kozlowski at the top of the timing screens in this session, now 1.1 seconds ahead of Bradley Curtis. That, in racing terms, is light years. Kozlowski is flying in the GP50 R class this weekend. Of course, that may not be it though. Of course, we do combine the 2 qualifying sessions, take your best lap from both of them to decide the time that you'll be using to decide your grid position. So we will let you know what the grids are as soon as we have them confirmed. Checkered flag now waves, as you will be seeing in the background a few yellow flags as well, letting the riders know to slow down. The session is over. 1 more qualifying to go, and then it will be time to go racing. And of course, it will be the 70s, the most prestigious, the premier class of mini bike racing here at FAB. Before we get going, we'll have our Mini Moto action underway first, and then we'll move on to the bigger bikes to end the day. And of course, Izzy, 2 more races tomorrow as well.
Exactly, very much so. Tomorrow we will have the last 2 races for every single class, and today we will see the first race for every class, which I think today will be interesting because it's the chance for the riders to get a feel for where they can end up in their races, and then they'll have tonight to reset, ready to go again tomorrow.
Absolutely. As this session comes to an end and we move into the Mini GP70s, let's just cast our minds back to, well, over a year ago now, but this time last year, so to speak, at the opening round of 2024. There was only 1 race in the Mini GP70s. Unfortunately, the weekend was cut short after incidents on track. Most categories got 2 races in. The 70s only got 1. They had to slide a 4th race in at another round later down the line. And in that 1 race, it was Wilson Dilks who dominated from the pole. Arch O'Brien and Finlay Polehill rounding out the podium there. Dilks is here this weekend, the reigning champion of the 70s. He'll be racing in the Extreme 200s class, but he won't be in the 70s. In fact, a lot of the big names that we had from last year from the 70s not here this weekend, potentially not here for the season. We'll have to wait and see, but that mixes things up, opens doors, opens opportunities there. So that's one to watch out for. Dilks obviously likes this circuit, but in a different category where he did win one of the races. He won race 1 there with another champion from Mini GP70s, Ethan Sparks, taking race 2 in that category. So could be very exciting at the end of that session. Kozlowski was on top. Time for the 70s, then it's time to go.
Looking forward to it. So yeah, as Ross just said, we've got the 70s coming up in just a second. And last year, Wilson won that championship, and we are just waiting now for the riders for the GP70 to get themselves onto the grid.
Yeah, you see them there, gaggle of bikes snaking their way round through the first sector, of course, getting the tyres up to temperature, using tyre warmers, of course, but it's still not quite the same as when you're pushing rubber to the asphalt out on the racing surface. Now, this back section that you're just seeing out the front of your picture before they snake round these sweepers and onto the back straight, that is probably the most punishing part of the circuit, both in terms of maybe incidents, but definitely in terms of time. If you make a mistake there and lose your momentum, it can really, really cost you multiple positions if you're fighting in a big battle. And quite often we see in the 70s here at Lydd, it ends up like a Moto 3 race. You've just got rider after rider after rider all in a line. So session just started, 10 minutes left to go. Harrison Day, he has been the man on form so far this weekend, flying along on his number 15, the orange machine. And well, we're waiting to see what he can do, but he looks like he is the one to beat so far. But again, some big names also missing. We'll have to wait and see if they're joining us later in the season, but you can see there already, Izzy, just look there, they're in qualifying and they're already trying to race each other like it's Moto 3.
Indeed, and I think this is one of the things everybody wants to do so well at this season opener. They want to get their name known and they want to have their time up there right at the top. Even coming second for some people isn't going to be good enough. They want there to be first.
Absolutely. Well, it's very much the racer's mentality, isn't it? You've got to go for it. If you ain't first, you're last, as the famous quote goes. Harrison Day sets the early pace in this session, 1.4 seconds up on Travis Shaw in P2. Ridiculous opening pace there, but of course many riders will choose to build up rather than immediately launch into it out of the gates. If you are just joining us here at the opening round of the MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship, don't panic. You've not missed any of the racing action just yet. We're in the final qualifying session of the weekend before we have all of our race ones to look forward to later on, before heading into our race 2s and our race 3s across Sunday. Should be a very, very exciting weekend, safe to say. The sun has gone away a little bit now, unfortunately, but it's still quite warm here and still a little bit of wind picking up. You can see the plants blowing in the breeze there as the riders sweep their way around. So should be very exciting to see. And just pushing our way through the final qualifying session, and then we'll get ready to go racing. Mini Moto guys up first. We'll have our junior Mini Moto categories, Izzy, and then our senior Mini Motos before we get on to the bigger ones.
We will indeed. So our first race we will be seeing today are the AC Pros, AC40 Pros, and that will be an interesting one, I think. And then after that we will be having the AC40 Rookies, and this year we have got quite a few new faces joining the Rookies on the grid, and we did get to speak to them, a couple of them, yesterday when we were doing some interviews, and they are all just looking forward to getting their start. As we said, this is the road to MotoGP. This is where a lot of people have started from and have gone on to be with MotoGP, Bennett's British Superbikes, to mention there Kyle Ryde, Brad Ray, Charlie Nesbitt even. All of them have come from FAB-Racing.
It is the place to be if you want to start a career in bike racing, and especially so in the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup. Riders as young as 6 years old getting onto the bikes and pushing to show what they can do. Of course, some of them it will be their first race that they've ever competed in, and it's very much just about getting that experience under the belt. But some of them, in comparison, seasoned veterans are ready to fight up the front of the pack. We also do have a new junior Mini Moto category this season. We're introducing the AC40 Interclass, and that is a split between the rookies and the pros, surprisingly enough, does what it says on the tin. The difference there is the rookies, you have a 10mm restrictor on your exhaust. In the pros, you've got a 14mm restrictor on the exhaust. In the Inters, it's 12. Nice and slap bang in the middle, but just gives you that little bit more push, a little bit more speed.
Indeed, it does. And then after that, we will be seeing the senior Mini Moto race happening. And once again, everybody is just looking forward to this weekend, getting started, getting back on the grid and getting back into the groove of racing again. Obviously, like you said, we've started a little bit later this year than we did last year. And so everybody's had a bit of a longer winter break to relax, recover, reset, ready to go again this season and starting here at Lydd.
Absolutely. We did see quite a few of our riders heading over to Spain, taking part in the FAB-Racing Winter Series there that was set up for the first time. A lot of riders like to go there anyway. Obviously, warmer weather means you can just keep pushing around. And for the parents, it's a nice little holiday to Spain. Can't complain about that one. But now we're back on British soil and it is all ready to get going. 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in this session. Harrison Day still on top. Travis Shaw has closed down the gap a little bit. Now 0.8 of a second separating the pair of them at the top of the timing sheets. Good to see Frankie Watson out there as well. He's just jumped up to P5. He had an off in qualifying one. Did bring out the red flag briefly, but good to see that the bike's all okay. He's back on and pushing onwards. Just shows the mentality of these riders.
It does. Like you said, having a crash, having an incident can knock you for 6 sometimes, but these riders have a completely different mentality. They're all getting up, getting back on and fighting their way through to get that number 1 on the grid.
Absolutely. Again, we will confirm for you the qualifying orders as soon as we know them. We take the best time from both qualifying sessions to decide where the riders will be starting on the grid for all 3 races. Of course, another thing that's happening this season, we have also combined the AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elite into one category. It must be said, the LC40 Elites last year, a lot of riders would just hop on that on their air-cooled Pro bike. There was only a few riders that would turn up on the liquid-cooled bike. So what we've done is similar to Moto Team, which of course we'll touch on later, because that's always a bit of a nightmare to wrap your head around if you're new to Fab Racing. It will be them all racing in one race. They'll all be fighting for the same positions, but at the end of the race, we split the classes. And of course, you know, if you're 5th place, but you're the leading air-cooled bike, that'll be a first place for you. And the championships, of course, will be split, even though they're sharing the same track. The pace between them, there's not much of a difference. They will be fighting for overall positions and the overall win between them, battling it out for glory. So it will be exciting racing nonetheless. Cast your mind back to last season. We saw some fantastic battles for the lead of the race in the LC40 Elites. We saw Logan Cousins take a double victory, but Mason Frederick leaving it all out there, ploughing his way through the corners like a boy possessed and getting very close to second places for him on that weekend. He's made his way up, though, onto the bigger bikes now, so it's all to play for in the most senior junior Mini Moto category. Try to wrap your head around that one. Harrison Day still on top of the timing sheets. He's looking very comfortable at the moment.
He is indeed just behind him. Oh, we have now got Frankie Watson following behind Harrison Day. He has just put in a 41.431. And after him comes Travis Short, who has just put a 41.973. Obviously, like Ross has said, it will be taken from the best lap between both qualifying sessions, which will determine where everyone is starting on the grid for their races.
Absolutely. We did just see Harrison Day coming into the pit lane there. 3 minutes left to go, so you will have plenty of time to get out there and put another lap in. It's around about a 42 second lap here at Lydd. Very, very quick. So plenty of time there. You can just see him speaking to some of his colleagues, speaking to his parents, his dad there, Josh, on the left-hand side, a former BSB rider, here supporting his son on his own bike racing journey. Visors up, seems pretty comfortable. We see Matthew Thomas there in the background of the shot, another one of our young up-and-coming riders. He'll be out on track a little bit later on, out there in the 50s. And we've got a seagull this close to the coast. It was about time we had one. A very blurry seagull, it must be said. There you go, bit of bird watching for you, just in case. The racing out on track, maybe not quite your thing.
Yeah, but he looks like, maybe he's got a little bit bored, but he seemed to be enjoying himself then. But he's going to go have a look. Oh, he's having a little look somewhere else.
Well, even entertaining the wildlife here at Lydd. Where else would you find that but here in Fab Racing? 2 minutes left on the clock. It is Harrison Day, Frankie Watson, Travis Shaw, the top three in this session. Taylor Tomlinson in P4. Those four are separated by a second. Frankie Watson is 6.5 tenths behind Harrison Day at the moment, who looks very, very comfortable.
Do let us know in the comments who it is you are supporting this season and who it is you would like to see winning the races this weekend.
Absolutely, of course, wherever you're watching around the world, whatever you're watching on, be it the Fab Racing or the Motorsport media, social media channels, or if you're listening along on Motorsport Radio as well, it's a pleasure to bring you all of the action. And of course, Motorsport Radio, the only place you can catch IndyCar coverage as well as we start gearing up towards the month of May. The Indy 500 draws nearer and nearer. Make sure to listen along to all the testing, the qualifying and the racing for the Indy 500 coming up very, very soon. But of course, that's in the future, and that's four wheels. Who cares about that? We're on two wheels right now here at Lydd, and it is getting closer and closer to race time. 1 minute left in the session. And well, you can really feel the tension here at the track. The paddock are gathering around in the pit lane and in the viewing areas. We were ready to see some racing.
We should also mention that this weekend we have some of our previous stars here from Fab Racing, racing in the Red Bull Rookies. And we have got Lucas Brown and Sullivan Mounsey racing.
Absolutely. Those guys off at Jerez this weekend, chasing their bike racing dreams in Red Bull Rookies. They, of course, will be racing alongside the superstars in MotoGP, sending Lucas and Sullivan all of our very best. Looked like they were running pretty well yesterday, so hopefully they can bring home some strong results and do us proud on an international stage, both as young British riders but also as FAB graduates. This is of course the place to be as a young rider if you want to start a career in bike racing. We've had riders go to MotoGP, World Superbikes, British Superbikes, you name it. A FAB rider has been there and has been successful. Checkered flag is now out. Qualifying is done and dusted. It is time to go racing in 2025 in just a few short moments. Izzy, what can we expect?
So first up, we can expect to be seeing the AC40 Pro and the LC40 Elite out on track for their very first race. We are looking, last time we were here in the pros, we had a Frederick double win and Rex Austin a double podium.
Absolutely, but those guys both moving up now to the bigger gear bikes, the Mini GP bikes, so it could be some new faces awaiting us heading into this one. We'll have to wait and see, but there we go. As a Mini GP 70s, the most prestigious category here in FAB Racing. Their qualifying comes to an end. Their race will be the final one of the day. Of course, 2 more races to come tomorrow as well. We'll get the grids confirmed for you as soon as we can. That is it though for qualifying. Racing getting ready to go in just a short moment's time. FAB Racing, here we come. Here it is then. The time is now. The riders will be making their way to the dummy grid. The opening race of the 2025 FAB Racing Mini Bike British Championship, brought to you by MasterMac. It is, of course, the AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites. This combined class that will have separate championships, but fighting for position on the same track. The riders getting ready. Of course, these guys can be as young as 7 years old out there and pushing onwards, but it is still very, very furious racing.
Yeah, we are just waiting for them to start their outlap and then we will have the grid ready to go, and it's going to be some very exciting racing, I think, over the next couple of hours.
It will absolutely be so. Just a reminder of the start procedure for you here at FAB Racing. It has been a long time. We need to dust off those cobwebs in your brain. It will be the riders coming out of the dummy grid, heading round to the grid. Then there will be a sighting lap, and then it'll be time to go racing. And it will be very, very exciting indeed. The AC40 Pros and the LC40 Elites. 9 laps await them here at Lydd, and of course all the pressure on those young shoulders. Not only are they trying to show what they can do at the start of the season, show where they're going to be fighting for in the championship, but the whole world's watching. It's the first race of the year.
Yeah, and they've got to let that pressure not get to them. They just have to keep their focus on and focus on getting that first place and getting the best they can out of these bikes.
Absolutely, but Izzy, you said to me earlier on though, you said that when these riders go out there and the visors go down, it all fades away.
Yeah, exactly. It's the mentality of motorbike racing. That visor goes down, you are focused on what you see in front of you, and that's that. And if you can see a gap, you go for it to get that podium spot.
Absolutely. As the riders make their way out onto the circuit, let's run through the grid. Maxwell Keats will start from pole position. Tommy Williams alongside with Jensen Cedras in P3. P4 will be Henry Brodie with Danny Longhurst 5th and Joey Athasich in P6. Claudia Dubman starts 7th with Ethan Bayliss in P8 and Oliver Wilson P9 rounding out our grid today. Should be very, very exciting to see what these young riders can do as they make their way round towards the grid. Of course, you'll see here as they cut along to the inside, those cones have been put out down the back straight. You'll see the riders cutting inside. They do this awkward loop section. It's a bit slow compared to the rest of the racetrack, but it just allows that technical ability to shine through for the Mini Motos. Hard brakes, getting the bike tipped in, just carrying your momentum, making sure your line's right so you can punch out of the corners for those. There's almost the short shoot style straights, and then back onto the main racing surface for the final 2 corners and onto the grid. Izzy, what can we expect from these young riders here?
We can expect a lot from these young riders. I think, Ross, here they are just lining up now. Like you said, we've got Maxwell Keats first on the grid, followed by Tommy Williams in 2nd, Jensen Cedras in 3rd, followed by Henry Brodie in 4th. On our 3rd row, we have Danny Longhurst and Joey Athasich. And then on our 4th row, we have Claudia Dudman and Ethan Bayliss. And in 9th place, we have Oliver Wilson.
Absolutely. Some issues maybe there for Danny Longhurst on the 26, was checking the bike, but everything now seems to be okay. Lee Clowes, our flag marshal, looking ready, just shielding the sun away from her eyes at the front of the grid, but ready to set them on their way. You can see she's just talking with race control. They're just out of the picture, but that was just a thumbs up to our race director, Roger Keys. The point to the lights. 2025 is about to get underway. The red lights are on. It is lights out. We are underway in 2025. Great launch away there from Tommy Williams on the 61 bike. He will inherit the lead down into turn 1, and as they snake their way through the opening sector, you can see the accordion effect rippling away, looking to the inside there. Maxwell Keats trying to regain his lead. Can't quite find the way through Tommy Williams through the opening few corners. Looks to the inside. Door is shut. Not quite an opportunity to make the move just yet. Already a bit of a split starting to form between the front of the pack and those more towards the rear, but it's all clean opening. Good starts from everyone, and as they push their way around, it will be Tommy Williams that leads the way.
And it's looking to be quite a tight battle at the moment for first place. We have got in the lead, we have got Tommy Williams, and he's getting quite a bit of a gap going now, and the battle for second place is tight.
Yeah, absolutely, making their way round to the end of the opening lap, and it is Tommy Williams that leads the way from Maxwell Keats in P2. And actually, as they push their way around, looks like they have in fact swapped positions there, so that is great to see as they push their way around. Third place, Jensen Cedras as well. He's trying to push his way through the number 51, so Tommy Williams dropping back into second, and Cedras, who started third, trying to improve from his grid position. As they make their way to the S's section, we see Cedras looks to the inside, has to stand the bike up just a little bit there, but he's definitely on the attack, maybe smelling blood. Is that potentially Tommy Williams feeling the pressure as they head down the back straight? Once again, Cedras to the inside, but the two cannot find any space. Right now, Tommy Williams doing a great job to hold on to second.
He is indeed, and he's getting a bit of a gap going now on Cedras. Out in front, though, we still have Keats, and he's getting quite a distance going between him and the guys battling for second place. And Cedras, he's getting up on the close towards Williams, but let's see what and he's making a move on the outside, and it's still not happening for him. He cannot seem to get close enough to make that move.
Good attempt from Cedras, tried the switchback, tried to get underneath the rider in front, but unfortunately just wasn't to be. But this time, big dive to the inside. That is lovely from Jensen Cedras. Runs a little bit deep, but covers it off well. That is up into second for the number 2 machine. Wonderful move at a big, big corner, but slides on by. That is brilliant stuff from Jensen Cedras. There we see the 23, Henry Brody, leading the 26, it appears, of Danny Longhurst. No, in fact, that is Danny Longhurst leading the 67 of Joey Athisic as they make their way through the tight and twisty loop section down the middle of the racetrack. Athisic looking for a way through, perhaps. Can't quite find anything at the moment. It will be 6 laps to go for these guys as they cross the line. And there we see the 26 running very, very wide out the corner. It must be said, we've had some orders from race control this weekend for that final corner. You cannot run wide across the rumble strips. Of course, you can take a little bit wide. You can use some of that curb there, but especially in the senior classes as well, where they've got suspension and they do like to hang the bike out wide. If you go out wide there, that will be a 1 second penalty every time you do it. So you don't want to do it because it can cost you a lot of time.
Yeah, that you definitely don't, because the more you do it, the more time is just going to add up. You want to avoid that as much as possible. And let's just have a look at where we are right now. We still have Maxwell out in first place, followed by Jensen Cedras in second, and then Tommy Williams in third. It must be mentioned, Cedras has just done the fastest lap so far at 56.133. The leaders are really close together.
Yes, Cedras seems like a rider possessed at the moment. He is flying with that lap time. That is, 5/6 tenths quicker than anybody else out on the racetrack at the moment. Cedras, starting from third, wants to move forward. See that little bit of a check down from Maxwell Keats. Hopefully everything on the bike okay. Cedras looks to the inside once again. Can't find anything on that occasion, but he seems confident through that big right-hander. Of course, you do stand on the brakes a little bit, but to try and get the front of the bike down, and especially at the angle that he's entering the corner. Yes, there's a wide open racetrack there. There's a huge angle of attack for him to go for, but it's just very difficult to get through there. It down, and that looks to me like it's the 67 of Joey Athasic, who has had a fall. That's coming out of the opening section. He's up on his feet, which is great to see, and hopefully he is all okay. But the fact he is standing, that is a good sign. Lydd is now coming through what I believe to be the scene of the accident. No, it's a little bit further on at the second chicane section we go through now. So, of course, no overtaking allowed through this section as they go through. It is still Maxwell Keats that leads Jenson Cedras. Cedras, though, he's pushing really, really hard. 4 laps to go.
He is, like you said, he's like an animal right now. He's just going to keep pushing at Keats to try and get that first position off of him. Yes, although he has got a podium position right now, he is desperate for that first, as every other rider is here today. And, is he going to make the move? No, but he's getting very close, very, very close to Keats right now. He still can't do it, and he's still following, but he's just taking his time just to keep on biting towards Keats and remind him that he's there on his tail wanting to take that position off of him. Cedras still following Keats right now. Let's see what happens. And no, Keats remains in first. He holds on to that position. Cedras is just being an animal, and he's on the corners, he gets close. He gets very, very close to Keats, but then on the straights, they seem to space out a little bit more again. And here we go. Keats is still leading this race currently. Let's see if Cedras is going to make a move. Is he going to? No, he stays behind Keats. He is very close. He could be making a move right now. Is he? No, he isn't. Keats is holding on to that first place as best as he can. Cedras is still following though round these corners, and they're coming back up onto the first straight of the race into the first corner, and Cedras is still on the tail of Keats, but I think there's a gap winding up here, and Keats is holding on to that first place pretty well.
I think Cedras may be having to rethink his strategy. All the corners where he's attacking, he can't quite find the way through. But at the same time, Maxwell Keats, he's defending into a few corners that I would be quite surprised to see him going again. Cedras again looks into that right-hander. Again, can't find anything. We saw the last 2 laps. Keats defends into the hairpin onto the infield section. We'll see if he does it here again. Cedras too far back to make a move. And this time, Keats does take a far more normal line. Runs a little bit deep, though. So that allows Cedras to close up once again. Can he get underneath them on the exit of the corner? Yes, he can. And through slides Jenson Cedras into the race lead, rockets out of the corner, and as they come to start the final lap, the yellow and black flag will be waved, or in fact it won't be waved. It's a last lap board apparently this season. It is Jenson Cedras who takes the lead, but Maxwell Keats is right alongside him. Can he try and get back through, is he, as they make their way through traffic?
We will have to wait and see. Cedras is still holding on to that first place, and he has got quite a gap on Keats at the moment. These two are both riding the LC40 Elite, so it's been a very close competition between them. In third place at the moment, we have Tommy Williams on the AC40 Pro Series. Let's see what's happening. Cedras has really got a gap growing now on Keats. I think Keats has lost that first place, and Cedras is holding on to it well. He's just fighting through to get to the end of this race. Let's see what happens. Cedras is still currently in the lead, and Cedras is final flag. Cedras has won this race. Checkered flag, Jenson Cedras is the winner and takes first place, with Maxwell Keats following him in second place, Tommy Williams in third, Henry Brody in fourth place, and we will just see who is next to take the checkered flag.
There we go then, Jenson Cedras. He took 2 wins in the AC40 Rookies Cup last year, and he opens 2025 with 1 from 1. Cedras and Keats, the only 2 LC40 Elites, the only 2 liquid-cooled bikes we had out there in P1 and 2. but it was a harsh-fought battle between them as Cedras pushed onwards. He takes victory with Keats in second, and from third onwards, of course, this is first onwards in the AC40 Pro class. It was Tommy Williams rounding out the podium, Henry Brodie fourth, Danny Longhurst fifth, Claudia Dubman in P6, Ethan Bayliss seventh, and Oliver Wilson P8. Unfortunately, we did lose Joey Athisic in that one, and he was our sole retirement, but a very, very exciting race to open up 2025. Some gaps forming there. We had some upsets potentially in the AC40 Pros. Riders maybe just not quite going the way that they wanted it. But in the LC40 Elites, even if these are the only two liquid cooled bikes we have with us all season, we've potentially got a fantastic championship on our hands. What a fantastic battle we have just witnessed between Cedras and Keats, as we see them there sat receiving the applause of their colleagues and of some family and paddock members as well. Cedras wins the opening race of the season in the AC40 Pro LC40 Elite class with Maxwell Keats in P2. Tommy Williams yet to come round to take his spot behind the third place board. He takes victory in the AC40 Pro category with Henry Brodie in second and Danny Longhurst in P2. Of course, these guys still got 2 more races tomorrow.
They have indeed. Right, we are on to the second race of today now, and we have got the AC40 Rookies Cup up now. We have got a lot of new faces today. They are going to get ready to go on their outlap in just a minute, just waiting for everybody to get out and ready to get started on that. We do have our grid lineup ready. On our first row, in first place, we have Bo Morris, followed by Austin Bayton. On our second row, in third and fourth, we have Cooper Say and Zach Athisic. But, yep, that will be happening. And then on our third row, we have Jensen Brown and Oliver Cheeseman. And followed on our fourth row, in seventh and eighth place, we have Chase Carter and Casey Reeson. On our fifth row, in ninth and 10th, we have Theo Tyler and Reggie Watson. And then on our sixth row, we have Keely Bailey and Savannah Polden, followed on our 7th row in 13th and 14th by Oakley Hipwell and Izzy Cook. And then on our 8th row, we have Adele Everett and Oscar Bond.
Yeah, 16 bike grid heading into the first race of the season here in the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup, brought to you by Grassroots to Grand Prix. Should be very, very exciting, of course. These riders as young as 6 years old, many of them, this is the first time they will be heading down to a race. And oh boy, hold on tight, shades of last year. We've got a bit of a track inspection going on. Hopefully the sand, slightly better quality this time round. But yeah, just being brushed away. Of course, that's where we saw Joey Athisic have a fall in race number 1 for the AC40 Pros LC40 Elites. So clearly just some fluid spilling out onto the track there. The marshals doing a fantastic job clearing that up. And I'm sure we will be getting it ready to go racing in just a short moment. But a 16 bike grid here, Izzy, so it's a big, big field of riders heading out there. And of course, some of them, it may be their first weekend of racing ever. Some of them may have only been on the bike a couple of months. Some of them may have been going around for a year or so. You know, you get this big split, but either way, you get fantastic racing here.
Indeed, and I think we should mention we've got a few females on this grid. And this year, we are being supported again by the House of Moto Championship for the women. And on the grid, we have got Keely Bailey, we have got Savannah Polden. Now, we interviewed her the other day. Her older sister, Daisy Polden, is racing again with us this year, but this year is Savannah's first year, and we can say she's very much looking forward to it this weekend.
She is indeed following in the footsteps of her sister, both of them being supported by House of Moto, of course, a grassroots organisation that helps push for female riders in bike racing. And of course, once again in 2025, we will be running the House of Moto Cup. It is an all-female rider cup across all categories, and whoever gets the most points out of all the female riders at the end of the year takes the cup. It was Nelly Newth, of course, who did that at the end of last year. And of course, talking of promoting grassroots racing, Grassroots to Grand Prix, the sponsor of the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup in 2025. I mean, the clue's in the name. They're here to help push on young riders and get themselves a name out there and help promote young riders and push them forwards, hopefully to Grand Prix racing, if not certainly onto an international stage. The riders now coming round to the end of their sighting lap. They'll be held on the grid by the flag marshal Lee Klaus. and then they will be getting ready to go racing. On the left of your screen, the number 57, Bo Morris, lines up on pole position. On the right-hand side, it's Austin Baton, the number 100. Again, some of these riders as young as 6 years old, with a 16-rider grid ahead of us. It is sure to be very, very exciting. Last words of advice from the roving marshals. More often than not with the Rookies Cup, that is the parents of the young riders, just giving them some last-minute support. Any issues with the bike, trying to quickly sort them out, yeah. And then just, last words of advice, keep your eyes on the lights, have fun, enjoy it. Maybe go and win, please, but, we'll have to wait and see. As we wait for the last few riders. Looks like we might be missing someone potentially in P2, or am I just being a bit blind? That is quite possible. We'll push onwards regardless. The flag marshal getting ready, radios into race control. You can see they're just looking off to the right-hand side, waiting for the thumbs up from race director Roger Keys. And I believe that thumbs up has now come as she will point to the lights and set the riders on their way. The FAB-Racing Rookies Cup in 2025 is go. Jump start there as the light goes out. That was Austin Baton from second place. He did get back on the brakes, but will tumble down the order, and that should allow, I believe, that was Zach Athasic who slid up into second place. But now, who is that? That is indeed Baton, who flies back around, but he may well get a penalty. He moves back up into second as Bo Morris takes advantage of that mistake away from the lights. A real disappointing start to the season there from the number 100, but clearly trying to put himself back in the good books and trying to fly forward, but it's quite possible Race Control might be having a look at that one.
I think they will be indeed. It was quite a big jump start he got there, but like you said, Bo Morris took full advantage of that to get out into P1 and hold that position ahead of everybody else. Everybody else is looking to be quite grouped together though, still towards the back of the grid. We have got everybody grouping together slightly. A little bit of speed coming there, very slow into the corner there. But we will see what happens throughout the rest of the race. We've got 7 laps to go. And in first place, we have got Bo Morris still holding on to that lead.
Austin Baton getting very, very close behind, though. Again, we'll wait to hear what Race Control have to say. He did stop the bike, which of course then let everyone else to swamp past him, so they might give him the benefit of doubt given that he did stop the bike before he jumped away. As we see some more battles further back in the pack, riders pushing for every single position out there on the racetrack. Of course, and a lot of the times for these young riders, they just want to go out there and have fun. But of course, all of them deep down, they've got that competitive streak, that pure desire to win that you only see in races. And they'll all be pushing for their absolute best. But of course, pushing to improve and get used to being on a bike before they start to move up the FAB Racing world, up the FAB Racing pyramid, so to speak, and onto bigger bikes to truly launch their bike racing career. There we see pushing through the final corner some of our riders. That looks to be the number 57 making their way through there. And as they push on round, looks like everything running A-OK. Bo Morris still leads the race, and as we see them there on the 57, but that is Austin Baton right behind on the number 100, who did set fastest lap of the race last lap, a 1 minute 0.4326. And as you can see at the top of your picture, some good news for Austin Baton there. No further action after that jump start. They deemed that he stopped and lost too much time off the line. It's not worth giving him a penalty for. That means he can push on and fight for this race win.
Definitely, he can just keep on going against Bo Morris and keep on working to catch up to him. Bo Morris has still got a bit of a lead currently, but you know that Austin is putting everything he can into getting up behind him to try and get a move to take that first place from him. Lower down the grid, we've still got Cooper Say in third place, followed by Zach Athasic. And then we have Jensen Brown in fifth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we just saw there the 32. That's Izzy Cook having some issues. We saw the bike being lifted up. Hopefully everything's okay. Didn't see whether that was an issue or a fall for Izzy. She's only been on the bike since November of last year, so it's really been a very short time since she's first stepped foot on a motorbike and then being out there racing. But she's done very well so far this weekend. A shame if that is the end of her opening race of the season. Morris still leads as the leaders now start to catch some traffic, and that is the race leader, the 57 57 of Bo Morris goes down at the bottom end of the racing circuit, manages to remount, gets back on, keeps on pushing, but that pushes Austin Baton straight into the lead of the race. Just looked like Morris dropped the rear end there, bizarrely enough, but good to see that they're straight back on the bike. But a real shame that will drop them down into second place.
Yeah, and he has just left that wide open now for Austin to take that first place from him. He's going to do everything he can to push that bike to its limit to get himself back behind him. And they are going through traffic currently. They are catching up with some of the riders towards the back of the grid. But here comes Austin, and he has just set the fastest lap so far. He's just done a 1 minute 3 seconds 0.721. Austin is going to push everything to keep hold of that first place and win this first race. We have got 4 laps left to go.
Yeah, great lap times there from Austin. A little bit off of the lap record we saw set last year by El Toro Emilio Pereira. That was a 101.144. We said earlier on that yesterday everyone was running really quick, but the temp's a little bit high today. Wonder if it's almost too hot now. It's very, very warm in the commentary box, it must be said. And I'm wondering if the tyres may be just starting to suffer against the scorching hot racing surface. The number 100 then, Austin Baton, into the lead of the race, as you see on your picture, after Bo Morris having a fall and dropping back around about 5 seconds. But luckily enough of a gap ahead of Cooper Say in the number 89. Zach Athasic up to P4 now. Great job from him so far, running a very, very solid race, but battles all throughout the pack, as we often see in the AC40 Rookies Cup. Brought to you, of course, by Grassroots to Grand Prix. 3 laps left to run then in this one. And Austin Baton, well, maybe not the dream start to a season, shall we say, with that slight jump start, but got away with it just about getting the bike stopped. And then the rest of the race, it's been smooth sailing, essentially. Basically handed the race win by Mo Morris after that incident. Of course, that's not what you want to do. These riders want to be fighting for positions, but I'm sure underneath that helmet, he's got a big grin on his face. Definitely. He would have been beating himself up after that start, knowing that he just lost it a little bit and kind of felt like he'd lost that chance to take that first place. But now, like you said, after Morris had his little slip up and came off ever so slightly, Baton was able to get through and take that first place back. And it is only race 1 of this weekend after all. They are all just looking forward to being back after the winter season. Baton is still holding on to that first place, getting a gap forming between him and Morris, and he's just swimmingly holding on to that first place right now. Absolutely, and of course, first race of a season with 21 races in it, so plenty of time for the riders to show what they can do out on a racetrack in the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup and show they have what it takes to push on forwards. There we see Baton all held up by a little bit of traffic there, but manages to make his way through nice and cleanly. Of course, no blue flags here in FAB Racing. You have to negotiate your way through the back markers on your own accord, but it was smart racing there from the number 100. He decided, no, it's not worth trying to blast around the outside. I saw what happened to the rider in front, and he's decided just to hang back just a little bit. And doing a great job so far is Austin Baton. Just want to quickly point out Savannah Polden on the 127, currently running in P12. Of course, she's backed by the House of Moto this season alongside her older sister Daisy, and doing a great job so far. Great to see more young female talent coming through here in FAB Racing. But coming round to start the final lap, it is the number 100 of Austin Baton. He's got 4 seconds to the good behind him. This one should be a pretty easy lap for him. I definitely think so as well. He has just held on to that lead throughout this race, but Bo Morris, number 57, is going to do everything he can on this last lap to chase him down. We have had someone come off. Now that is number 98, Reggie Watson, has come off his bike. However, there is Austin Baton still flying around the track, and we are on the last lap. He's going to do everything he can now to hold his lead to take this first win for him of the season. Bo Morris does still remain in second place, but Baton has got the lead on him now to take this first place. We are coming round now into the final section of the circuit. Baton is holding on to that first place. Is he going to take it?
let's see what happens. He's into the final corner now. This is going to be a great result here for Austin Baton, and he has done it. Austin Baton has took first place in the first race of the AC40's Rookies Cup. Following behind him in second place is Bo Morris. He has just taken the checkered flag, and we will wait and see the rest of the order as they come through and take the checkered flag. Austin Baton on your screen right now. You just saw a little fist pump into the air from him. You can tell he is absolutely thrilled to have took this first place win.
Absolutely, what a great ride there from Austin Baton, bringing home the first win of the season at the opening race. There were cheers from the crowd as he followed across the line, but it will be Austin Baton who takes a nice little win there to open up 2025. Bo Morris in second place, the 57, an unfortunate fall early doors, but managed to get back on and hold on to second place, with Cooper Say rounding out the podium. Zach Athasich was in P4 with Jensen Brown P5, Chase Carter P6, Oliver Cheeseman was 7th, Casey Reese in 8th, Theo Tyler was P9, and it was Reggie Watson who rounded out our top 10 there after a little bit of an issue late on in the race there for Reggie Watson, but able to remount and come home in 10th. Great stuff there. That concludes the opening race of the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup, brought to you by Grassroots to Grand Prix. Some fantastic action, and potentially we're already seeing some stars of the future.
That was a fabulous race there, especially for Austin Baton. Do feel free to drop us a comment. Tell us how you felt about that race and who you're looking forward to see next. There they are now. They are just coming in to the little podium section.
Great stuff there. Austin Baton takes the applause from the crowd. A great win, of course. Helped a little bit there by an unfortunate fall from Bo Morris. But he'll be very happy with that one. Bo will have a lot to look forward to across the next two races, though. They know that they've got pace going forwards. If they can stay on two wheels, they can certainly be fighting 4 race wins here at the Lydd Kart Circuit in Kent. The wind is picking up a little bit, and it is certainly chilling out the drivers. A great win there from Austin Baton. Now it is time for a new class. AC40 Inter awaits us. A 12mm restrictor on the exhaust. Plonks it power-wise right in the middle of the AC40 Pros and the AC40 Rookies. It will be all eyes on the young lady starting from pole position. International superstar, the 44 Nelly Knuth, who set the world alight in 2024. Is she looking to kickstart 2025? How she left Fab Racing last year. It was a 58.378 to give her pole position. And as the number 19 Finley Stiles, only a few tenths back though, it could be very, very close race. Indeed, you can see Finley Stiles there on the right-hand side of your picture with the pink levers and the yellow number on the front of the fairing. But we do have a 12-bike grid here. Should be very exciting to see how this new class gets underway. Many familiar faces from the Rookies Cup last year, moving up. Some problems perhaps as a bike gets moved off the racing surface. We're just waiting for the track to get cleared before they head on their sighting lap. But boy, oh boy, this should be exciting.
I do. I think it will be indeed. Like you just said, we are just waiting for something to get cleared off the track, and then we will see the outlap of these. We do have our grid already. So on row number 1 in first place, as Ross mentioned, we will have Nelly Knuth, who is very well known from her season here last year and for being first in the House of Moto Championship. Next to her in second place, we will have number 19, Finley Stiles, who you can see on your screen just right now on the number 19 bike in the black and pink overalls. On our second row, in third and fourth, we will have Austin Dilks, and then in fourth place, Noah Barfoot. On our third row, in fifth, we will see Freddie Taylor, and in sixth, we will see Reed Saxelby. On our fourth row, in seventh, will be James Dermott, and then in eighth, we will have Randy Carter, whose younger brother, Chase Carter, has joined us this year for his first season in the Rookies. Then on the fifth row, in ninth, we will see Seth James, and in 10th place, Henry Cooper. And then making up our final and sixth row will be in 11th, Daisy Grayson, and in 12th, Logan Paisley. So we've got a pretty full grid here with us.
We do indeed. Just a small delay before the riders heading out onto their sighting lap, which I think we're getting ready to do now. As you can see, the right hand's just twisting at the throttle, getting ready to push forwards. Of course, a quick run around for a sighting lap before the AC40 Inters, brought to you by Britson Electrical Services, will start their first race of the season. 9 laps for these guys out there to show what they can do. And again, if you were watching Fab Racing last year, if you had your eyes glued to the Rookies Cup like so many people did in what was one of the most exciting seasons of Fab Racing we've ever had, there'll be many familiar faces for you in this brand new category. So the riders making their way around, making sure everything feels okay as they push around. Again, this new category, a 12mm exhaust restrictor on instead of the 10mm that we see in the rookies and the 14mm we see on the AC40 Pro. So it's just got that little bit extra oomph, but it's not quite the full Blatter Mini Moto experience just yet. So it's still giving time for the young riders to get used to things and improve.
Yeah, like you said, it is just slap bang in the middle of the pro and the rookie class, and it will be really interesting to see what happens in this championship this year with it being new, because there are also the opportunities for fastest lap to be set, records to be made here by these riders. We have just got the grid lining up now, so like I said before, in first place we have Nelly Nuth, following her in second is Finley Styles, then in third we have Austin Dill, in fourth we have Noah Barefoot, in fifth we have Freddie Taylor, and in sixth we have Reed Saxelby, in seventh James Dermott, and in eighth Randy Carter, ninth we will see Seth James, and 10th we will see Henry Cooper, 11th Daisy Grayson, and 12th Logan Paisley.
Getting ready then to go racing. Nelly Nuth, the 44, on the left of your screen from pole, the number 19 of Finley Styles. Getting realigned there actually by the Flag Marshal Lee Clowes. He was slightly just outside of his grid slot. So Lee Clowes maybe just having a little check on everyone else. But it is Finley Styles now in the correct position on the grid as someone else also gets shifted over a little bit. He starts from P2 and someone gets absolutely dragged over to the side of the racetrack there, but gives them a bit of space in front. This is, of course, the first ever Britson FAB-Racing AC40 Inter-Race, and we are so looking forward to it. It is all eyes to the Digi-flag. It's all eyes to the red lights. It is lights out. We are underway, and once again, as we expected, it is a rocket start from Nelly Nuth. The 44 times the launch perfectly and just breezes away at the front. Finley Styles able to hold off attacks from behind. Austin Dilks and Noah Barfoot looking to try and push their way through, but Styles just about holds on for the time being as they come down to the bottom end of the racetrack, making their way around that big right-hander. You can see the front of the bikes just chattering away over the bumps as they head now into the fast stuff, the sweeping S's as they head towards the back straight. It is Nuth that leads from pole position. Finley Styles holds on to P2 as well, and maybe trying to close up the gap just a little bit as they fly now into the loop section. And look at that, it looks like in fact Finley Styles has slid through Nelly Nuth, and indeed he has, from second on the grid. Finley Styles into the lead of the race.
Yeah, very interesting to see here. Finley has taken that first from Nelly, and we will be interesting to see how she's going to take this and how she's going to fight back on this one. We are starting just the second lap of this race now, and holding on to that first quite well is Finley Styles. He seems to be finding himself quite a comfortable pace here. There is Nelly. Oh, is she going to make the move? No, but she's gaining on Finley as much as she can to hold on to her first win.
Yeah, really pushing there from Nelly Nuth. Obviously testing out where she can push, where she has more grip, more speed than Styles in front. But she needs to think behind as well, because Austin Dilks, the 85, right on her tail and closing up as they head into the infield section. A three-way fight for the podium places, a three-way fight for the lead in the opening race of the season for the Britson AC40 Inters, heading now to make it 7 laps to go. Styles from Nuth, from Dilks, your top three. It was Austin Dilks who had the fastest lap of the race. It's now Finley Styles, a 58.648. The top three all running very similar lap times, all within a 1/10 of a second of each other. Meanwhile, further back in the pack, Noah Barfoot in 4th and Freddie Taylor in P5. Those two fighting for 4th place. Everyone else, though, just running their own race, hitting their marks. A few riders clearly taking this opening race of the season as just getting rid of that racing rust, getting used to being back on the bike in a competitive atmosphere. These riders still so young. They'll be 7, 8 years old roughly, and going out there pushing themselves to the limit.
Yeah, as we can see on our screens now, Styles and Nuth have got themselves quite a bit of a gap going from the rest of the grid. Nelly is right on his tail. Is she going to try and make a move on the inside? And she does, and Nelly has taken back first place from Finley Styles. It is brilliant to see, but Finley isn't going to let this go easily. And Nelly is holding on. They are neck and neck, these two, both wanting that first place as best as they can.
Yellow flags out as they head down through into the second chicane. Nelly Nuth, that was aggressive racing there. It looks like we have actually lost Austin Dilks. That may be the cause of the yellow flag. He was in P3 at the start of the previous lap, and you'll see on the timing tower, tumbling down the order. What has gone wrong for the 85? He will be heartbroken. A real disappointing way to start his season. But Finley Styles and Nelly Nuth still fighting up the front of the pack. This is in the fight now for P3 as a result of Dilks having issues. This is Noah Barfoot leading Freddie Taylor, the number 36 machine, ahead of the 118. Let's see who's going to be on top as they come round to make it 5 laps to go. Coming out of the final corner, you can see there 2 very distinct different lines that are preferred by the riders this weekend. You either have a tighter line coming out or a much wider line. Yes, you're going over the bumps, but theoretically allows you to carry more momentum onto the straight and should give you a better entry into turn 1 as well. It is still Barfoot that holds on, but he's under huge pressure from Taylor right now.
Yeah, and this battle here between these two is, like you said, for third place, for that final position on the podium. Barefoot is holding on to his lead from Taylor, but Taylor is right on his tail, constantly fighting against him to try and take that third place from him. Nelly Nuth has stayed on holding to her first place and leads ahead of Finley Styles. Top 10 rundown for you right now. We have Nelly Nuth in first. Second, we have Finley Styles. Third, we have Noah Barefoot. Fourth, we have Freddie Taylor. Fifth, we have Reed Saxelby. Sixth, Randy Carter. Seventh, James Dermott. Eighth, Henry Cooper. Ninth, Seth James. And rounding out our top 10 currently is Daisy Grayson. She is another one by the House of Moto this year.
Absolutely great to see so many young female riders coming up through the Fab Racing ranks and showing what they can do and showing they have what it takes. 4 laps then left to run. Taylor still putting the pressure on Barfoot, trying maybe to get into the back of his mind, force him to make a mistake somehow if he doesn't quite have the pace to get around him purely with an overtake coming onto the back straight. And will he be close enough for a look to the inside? No, actually brakes slightly earlier, looking for a better exit out of this hairpin, and he does close up, but still not quite close enough. Is the gap open on the inside though? Yes, it is. We just can't get the momentum, can't get the drive out of the corner, and he will have to stay in P4 for the time being. 3 to go as Nuth crosses the line, leading Styles, Barfoot and Taylor. The last 2 couldn't fit a razor blade between them out on the racetrack. It is so tight. The racing furious here at Lydd at the opening round of the 2025 MasterMac FAB-Racing Mini Bike British Championship. Barfoot right now is holding onto that podium. He's riding really well, but Freddie Taylor pushing forwards, trying to find a way through.
What's going to happen here between these two? We will have to keep an eye and see. They are still fighting very carefully for that third place. Out in front we still have Nelly Nuth. She's holding on with grace to that first place. She has got a gap building on Finley Styles, but let's look at these two still fighting for that third place. Barfoot is just holding on to that lead over Taylor, and Taylor, as much as he is trying in those corners to get onto him and get past him, it is just not happening for him, and Barfoot is holding on to that lead on his number 36.
He is indeed, but can he hold on for much longer? Is the pressure from Taylor too much, or is the 36 feeling cool, calm and collected underneath that white lid? We'll have to wait and see. 2 laps left to run here in the opening race of the AC40 Inters, brought to you by Britson Electrical Services. Nelly Nuth continuing to pound the laps in another fastest lap 57.819 last time around. Next lap, of course, will be the final tour. She's got a second back now to Finley Styles. A little bit of issue at the start of the race. We saw her fighting with Styles, losing that lead that she had from pole position. But once she got back in front, she hasn't looked back.
No, she hasn't. You are right there, Ross. She has kept cool and just held on to that lead as best as she can. And we are just about now to start the final lap. She's just come round that final corner. And here we go. The last lap has started. You saw the board just there in the corner of your screens. Nelly Nuth is leading, holding on to that first place over Finley Styles in second. In third place, we have Noah Barfoot. With fourth place, we have Freddie Taylor.
Absolutely, really close in that battle for third, but as long as Nuth can stay on two wheels, she's essentially got this one in the bag, unless Finley Styles can pull something right out of the top drawer. He did get a little bit closer on the last lap, gap down to 9/10 of a second, and the gap visually does look like it is narrowing down. He must be giving it absolutely everything. But he's running out of time because we've got half a lap left to run. Nuth leads Styles into the infield section. Styles is really pushing, he's really closed up now, but it may be too little, too late for Finley Styles. As we head round the final corner, welcome back to 2025. Nelly Nuth takes the opening round of the season in style. What a performance, what a ride there from the number 44, and picks up where she left off in Fab Racing and opens it up with a commanding win. Styles did have the fastest lap of the race in that last lap. He really dug deep to try and get back into the lead of the race as the laps faded away, but unfortunately just didn't have enough time left. It is Nelly Nuth who takes the win.
Yep, so Nelly Nuth takes the first place, and following her in our top 10, we have in second place Finley Styles, in third place Noah Barfoot, fourth place Freddie Taylor, fifth place Reed Saxelby. Following him in sixth place is Randy Carter. Then in seventh we have James Dermott. In eighth we have Henry Cooper, ninth Seth James, and finally rounding off our top 10 is Daisy Grayson.
Wow, what a race to introduce this new category. A great result there for your race winner, Nelly Nuth, getting 2025 started with a bang. A young lass, an international superstar almost, after clips of her on BBC News went viral. And now she is showing what she is made of as she makes her way into this new interclass out of the Fab Racing Rookies Cup. A great result there for Daisy Grayson as well, getting into the top 10 and getting some points on the board for the House of Moto Cup. Of course, an all-female Ryder Cup encompassing the entirety of Fab Racing, and the first cup of its kind, the first cup promoting female riders in grassroots bike racing. But it is Nelly Nuth with a fantastic victory there and doing a great job taking the win by half a second. Fantastic stuff from the 44. Oh, it has been too long. It has been far too long, but the senior Mini Motos are finally back in 2025 and bringing with them all of the antics that we come to expect from the big people on little bikes. It's going to be crazy racing out there. Elbows out for certain as they make their way on their sighting lap. Let's have a run through the grid.
Yep, so in first place, topping the grid at the moment, we will have Matt Birkin starting in first. Following him in second will be Will Howarth. In third place, we will have Reese Gentry. Following him in fourth will be Chris Yeomans. In fifth place, we will have Nick Bennett. Following him in sixth will be David Myatt. In seventh, we have Andy Whedon. In eighth, Callum White. Ninth, Gary Eldridge. And 10th, Jerome Richards. In 11th, we have Steve Johns, and 12th, Peter Appleton. Rounding out our grid in 13th will be Rob Gentry. Something I think we should mention really quickly though, Matt Birkin this weekend is racing with tonsillitis. He has been quite ill, we've heard, over the past week.
Absolutely, the reigning senior Mini Motos champion. He's always one with a smile on his face, but he's feeling the pain today, suffering from a bout of tonsillitis. He wasn't here Friday either, so he's turned up with no time on the track with tonsillitis, still stuck in on pole, but only 0.07 of a second ahead of Will Howarth on the number 96. This could be a real close battle between the pair of them. We know the racing in senior Mini Motos is well, shall we say chaotic at the best of times. 9 times out of 10, rules go out of the window. It is just pure chaos drama out on the racetrack. The riders making their way into the grid spots. Will it once again be a Birkin boy taking victory, with Matt Birkin, the reigning champion, looking to pick things up where he left them off in 2024? Or can Will Howarth cause a little bit of an upset on his return to the senior Mini Motos? And can the number 96 get through from second place on the grid? It's a 13 bike field here, getting ready to be set underway by the flag marshal, Lee Clow. She points to the lights, and it'll be red lights on. It is red lights off, and we are underway. Great launch there by Will Howarth. Matt Birkin away slowly, and it will be the 96 that leads them through the opening few corners. Birkin already trying to fight back, looking for a way through, goes to the outside with the number 1 plate on the front of the bike, but he's down into P2 because it was a great launch away from the 96, and Will Howarth leads as they make their way round at the bottom end of the racetrack.
He does indeed. Everybody still grouped together quite closely currently. We have got a few gaps forming here and there, but up at the front, like you said, we have Will Howarth in first, and Matt Birkin follow him very close behind Lee in second, and Matt Birkin has just made the move to take first back from Will Howarth, and they're coming into the tight section of the track right now. Very tight, need to be very careful here. Will Howarth is going to try and make the move back, and he has took it once again from Matt Birkin. These two are playing a game of cat and mouse here with each other. Birkin back again through, or are they neck and neck? We will see what happens. Birkin has taken that lead back from Matt Howarth. Let's see what happens. Howarth has taken it again. Will Howarth is riding very on his tail of Matt Birkin. They are literally neck and neck. Birkin has seemed to have taken the lead back and is holding on to it for now, but Will Howarth is not letting him go anytime soon.
Oh man, I've missed this. Will Howarth sits Matt Birkin up, and Birkin responds by just diving into a gap that barely existed, and then half a lap of side-by-side action. Oh man, this is brilliant in the senior Mini Motos, as it always is and as it always will be. I'm sure Matt's brother Josh sat at home wondering why he can't be here yet again. Come on Josh, sort your stuff out, give your brother a challenge like Will is here today, at least, as they come to make it. 7 laps left to run. It is Matt Birkin from Will Howarth, from Reece Gentry, your top 3. Nick Bennett holding on to P4 at the moment, and P5 will be Chris Yeomans as they make their way down through into the second chicane. We can see there's some action in the background. That's P4, Nick Bennett leading that little train there. Just behind him, Chris Yeomans, David Meyer and Andy Whedon there as well. David Meyer, of course, the vice champion from last year, actually missed the opening round at Lydd. Wasn't able to make it, unfortunately, but some very strong results, including a huge stretch at Rowra at that double round weekend. 5 wins out of 6. He was absolutely on it. Unfortunately, wasn't quite enough to get to the eventual champion Birkin. He currently in P6 on the number 22 machine. And further back still, lots of action going on. The likes of Callum White, the Birkin's cousin, of course, on the 322, Gary Eldridge, Steve Johns, all fighting ferociously for places. I mean, it's senior Mini Motos, it's pure chaos, it's elbows out. If there's a gap, I'm going for it racing. It is so fast, so chaotic, and it is so fun.
That's the point of racing, isn't it though, Ross? You've got to find that gap, and if you see one, you take it. Out in front right now, we still do have Matt Birkin leading from Will Howarth. However, he has just set the fastest lap of 55.299, but Birkin isn't going to let this lead go. These two have been in a close battle since this race has started, and it doesn't look like it is going to end any time soon. Will is staying right on the tail of Matt. He doesn't want to let this first place go, especially at this first race of the season. Our top 10 currently stands at Matt Birkin in first, Will Howarth in second, Reece Gentry in third, Nick Bennett in fourth, Chris Yeomans in fifth. In sixth we have David Meyer. In seventh we have Andy Whedon. Eighth, Callum White. 9th, Gary Eldridge, and 10th, Steve Johns. Let's just have a look what's happening out front still. Matt Birkin is holding on to that lead over Will Howarth, but these two are going to keep fighting until the end, I reckon, Ross.
Absolutely. 5 mil, like 4.5 laps left to go, and Birkin and Howarth couldn't fit a cigarette paper between the pair of them. Howarth looks to the inside, but Birkin slams the door. And the 96 will have to reset, refocus, regroup and go again. Maybe a move to the inside as they come to the infield section. No, too far back to have a dive on the brakes. And that just gives Matt Birkin a little bit of breathing room up the front of the pack. Again, racing ill this weekend. He won't be at his full strength, but he's still going to be out there fighting as hard as he can. Actually runs a little bit deep coming into the final corner, but was just about able to get away with it. Howarth was not close enough to punish him on that occasion, but the number 1 and the number 96 so close once again side by side. Still Matt Birkin leads though. He's super brake, just closing the door and sweeping around the outside. It just shows how well these two riders know each other. They've been racing against each other for years, and it's ultimate respect, even though they're fierce rivals out on track, and they know they can pull off ludicrous moves like that and get away with it because they know what each other are going to do.
If you're liking the look of this and would like to get yourself involved with Fab Racing, do have a look online and see on the website what it is you need to do to get involved. Let's have a look at towards the back of the pack here. Number 85 is just sat there for a little bit, which is Chris Yeomans in 5th. So here we've got our battle going on for 3rd place. Out in front is Gentry at the moment, Bennett in 4th and Yeomans in 5th. Yeomans is going to try and make that move on Bennett to take 4th place, but it seems to be very hard for him right now. Here we go, and the racing is still going on right now. The back of the pack are staying very close together compared to those two out front. They have took quite a gap on everyone else right now and are just focused on fighting for 1st place together.
Absolutely, we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Bennett holding on for dear life in P4 though, the 711, a staple fixture of the senior Mini Moto grid. I can't tell you the last time he missed a race, to be quite brutally honest with you. He's seemingly here every weekend, always riding in strong positions, but always on the defensive end for some reason. He always seems to be holding people back rather than chasing people, but he's doing a great job on that now, but the back of the bike twitches, somehow stays on 2 wheels, but that does allow the 85 of Chris Yeomans to slide through. David Mayat, the reigning vice champion, also goes through. Just looked like he lost the rear coming into the corner. They somehow collected the bike and stayed on. Scary moment for the 711. He drops down to P7 as a result. Yeomans, Mayat and Whedon all getting promoted, and with 1.5 laps left to go, Birkin still leads Will Howarth.
Yeah, like you just said, 1.5 laps to go. We are about to start this 1st lap, and these two staying ever so tightly close together. Birkin is holding on to that 1st place. They are just coming into the infield section of the circuit now, which gives Birkin that chance just to breathe a little bit, but Will isn't letting him go easy. Will Howarth is making a move, and no, he doesn't manage to make it. Birkin is holding on to that 1st place as we start the final lap of this race. Matt Birkin in 1st place with Will Howarth in 2nd, Reece Gentry in 3rd. Birkin out front, holding on to that gap he's got over Will Howarth, but it is very small, and Will knows this is the last lap. This is his chance to take that 1st place back from Birkin, but Birkin has got a gap building on Howarth now. Let's see what happens as we finish this lap of racing. Birkin holding on. Howarth is ever so close on his tail. Cat and mouse game between these two, as it has been for the whole entire race. Birkin and holding on to that lead as best as he can, and here we are coming into the infield section of this circuit. He is holding on to that lead for dear life. Howarth isn't going to let him do that though, and he's going to try and make the move, but he doesn't manage to get it. Matt Birkin holding on in 1st place. Birkin takes it and wins this race with Will Howarth took it just at the last second from him. That was the closest race between those two at all, and Howarth took it just in that last second, with 2nd place going to Matt Birkin, 3rd place going to Reece Gentry.
Welcome back to Senior Mini Moto Racing. 13 thousandths of a second separating them at the line. Will Howarth left it to the death and nicks it and takes the opening race of the season after a titanic tussle with Matt Birkin. Unbelievable stuff there. It is the 96 on his return to Senior Mini Motos. Will Howarth takes the win. look at the gap between himself and Matt Birkin in second place as Rhys Gentry rounds out the podium on the 100. Chris Yeomans comes home in fourth place. David Myatt was P5 with Andy Weeder in sixth. Nick Bennett, after collecting that almost crash earlier on, he comes home in seventh with Callum White in P8, Gary Eldridge in ninth, and Steve Johns in P10. But goodness me, man oh man, Will Howarth, that is the way to kickstart a season, as he's somehow broken down on the way back to the pit lane. These Mini Motos can be temperamental at the best of times, but that's the perfect time to give up, because if it had been a lap earlier, then we wouldn't have been robbed of that fantastic finish.
What a race that was between them two. They were neck and neck right until the very end, and Will just took it from him right at that last second. That was crazy. Absolute madness from the two of them here. And maybe he's broken down, because it looks like he's having to very much struggle to get that bike to the podium.
I don't think they actually know who won there either, because Matt Birkin hasn't pulled into position behind the winning boards, and they're sat there and you can see them asking at the side of the track to someone in the paddock who won the race. And there we see as well Chris Yeomans, he's getting involved in the conversation. Again, Will Howarth is showing up as a DNF after he came to a stop on the in-lap, but it was Will Howarth who took the checkered flag in P1, with Matt Birkin second, Rhys Gentry in P3. Man, oh man, what a race. I think Matt Birkin's just realised that he's second place. 2 more races to come tomorrow.
And next up, we have got the PB1 41st race of this weekend. They are just on their outlap at the moment. In our grid, we have got, on our first row, we have got in first place Chris Wells, followed by Richard Holmes Williams in second place. Third place, we have got Jamie King, and in fourth, we have Joshua French. Fifth place, we have Ben Cotgrove, and in sixth place, we have Ashley Powell. Seventh, we have Zach Torin, and in eighth, we have Harrison Quincy. Ninth place, we have Bailey Lawrence, and in 10th, we have Rob Shearer. Making up our sixth row, in 11th, we have Adam Thornborough, and in 12th, we have Perry Tomzip. On our 7th row, 13th, we have Daniel Gilbert, and in 14th, Bradley Powell. 15th, we have Bradley Ferreira. In 16th, we have Dan French. 17th, we have Robert Baldock, and in 18th, we have Robert Leveridge, and in 19th, making up our final position, we have Zach Andrews. A 10-row grid for us here, Ross.
Absolutely. Pit bike racing around this track is some of the best racing you'll find anywhere in the world. Jamie King, the 4-time reigning and defending champion, he starts P3, but it's his old rival, the man who seemingly can't stay retired, Chris Wells on the 62, who starts in front of him on pole position. Let's wait and see what's going to unfold. Red lights will come on.
Red lights are out, and then here we go. Race has started. Holding on to that first place, we have Chris Wells on the number 62. Following on from him, everybody else is quite closely tied together. 76th, Jamie King has got himself up into second position, following on closely from Chris Wells.
Yeah, great start there from King to rocket up into second place and maybe try and do some battle with a good friend, but an even bigger rival in Chris Wells. Up in front, Wells, of course, the 2023 pit bike champion. So lots of history between the pair of them, as Richard Holmes Williams, who will be disappointed with that start, just didn't quite get the launch that he wanted, as someone off the side of the racetrack, looks like they ran really, really wide. I believe that was the 152 of Bradley Powell that went wide. Seems to be all okay though, as they come to the line to complete the first lap of the race. All looks to be okay. Chris Wells leads up the front from Pit Bike Sonic himself, Jamie King in P2. Of course, Jamie, he's feeling confident coming into this season. Now a 4-time pit bike champion. A few changes to the bike made over the winter as well. What I don't think he's quite realised yet, he's a reigning and defending 4-time champion. That target on his back is going to be bigger than it's ever been.
It is indeed, but let's just look at number 126, Richard Holmes Williams. He started our grid in second position and has fallen all the way to 12th. That is not the greatest start he could have asked for on the first race of the season. But Chris Wells is holding on very well to his first place, with Jamie King following behind him in second position. We've got a little race occurring here, a little battle going on between number 62 Chris Wells and Jamie King out in front. Jamie King has just set the fastest lap of 43.653.
Real shame there for Richard Holmes-Williams. It turns out he was the one who was running off of the racetrack earlier on. Perhaps some problems for that bike. We'll have to wait and see, as there's battles further back in the pack as well. Everyone diving for position. Goodness me. That was a little bit too close for comfort, as three riders make their way onto the back section. Looks like that's Bailey Lawrence there in P9. In front of her will be the 59 of Ashley Powell. Just in front of them is 755 of Harrison Quincy. Bailey Lawrence doing a fantastic job. Of course, we saw some monstrous performances from Bailey last season, as she has really come along such a long way as a rider, and it's great to see what she can do moving into 2025. Of course, saw her first podiums in the pit bike 140 class at Rowra. 2 third places. King looks to the inside of Wells, meanwhile, in this fight for the lead with 9 laps left to run. Wells not having any of that. Immediately slams the door. He says, if you're going to get through me, you've got to earn it, sunshine. We're racing hard and we're racing for the win.
Definitely. He's come back from retirement for this, and he is going to want to do the best he absolutely can do. And he is, to be fair, we're doing extremely well, holding on to that first place over Jamie King. But King isn't going to let him go very easily. He's going to keep fighting with him over these next 8 laps. Let's look at our top 10 currently. We have in first place Chris Wells, second place Jamie King, third place Joshua French, fourth Ben Copgrove, fifth Zach Torren, 6th Harrison Quincy, 7th Ashley Powell, 8th Bailey Lawrence, 9th Rob Shearer, and finally in our top 10 we have Perry Tomsit. That battle is still happening out front. Chris Wells, Jamie King he tried to make a move then, but Wells wasn't going to let him go that easily, and King is going to do everything he can to stay on Wells' tail to get that first place off him on this first lap. We have 7 laps left to go.
Absolutely, and it is ferocious racing up the front. The reigning champion King looking for a way past the 2023 champion in Chris Wells, as there's battles further back in the pack. That's diving into the last corner. The number 44 of Bradley Ferreira fighting with Bradley Powell, Robert Baldock towards the back of the pack, and Daniel Gilbert, who we just saw him make his way through. Up the front, it is still Wells from King. 1 and 2, 62 leads 76. Can Pit Bike Sonic find a way through, or is Wells going to hold on? Oh, look at the front of the bike, almost dropping it there. The race leader, but held on. Great stuff, great action here, as always in the pit bikes at Lydd, and long may it continue. 6 laps left to run in race number 1.
Indeed, there is. Let's have a look what's going on here. Number 55 is 52. Ben Copgrove is in 4th position. We have got lots happening during this race currently. Let's have a look what is going on here. 755 Harrison Quincy is leading that battle for 6th place ahead of 59 Ashley Powell. Is he going to try and make the move? Let's see what happens. Ashley Powell holds on to that 7th place with Harrison Quincy up in 6th. These 3 are going to fight to get the points from this position.
Pushing really, really hard. 3 riders all trying to scrap each other, and at any moment they could be swapping positions, as we so often see here in FAB Racing. Just constant action everywhere you look. 5 laps now left to run. This battle rages on. 4 P6. Quincy leads Powell, leads Bailey Lawrence there. As now back to our race leaders, Wells and King. They were separated by just under 0.2 of a second at the line last time. Once again, King gets a run into the final corner, just can't get there on the brakes. Wells clearly feeling more confident, getting stopped, heading into the final turns. King, though, powering out of the corners. That seems to be where he's gaining the ground. Just can't quite get his way through his old rival.
He can't indeed. And this is going to be very interesting to see the battle between these two, not just today, but for the season ahead. With Wells coming back from his retirement, he's threatening King and his wins he's got and what and his position currently in Fab Racing. Wells is holding on to his lead over King very well right now. King is still doing everything he can to try and take that first position away from him. But here we go, Wells. Oh, there's a little bit of traffic here for them to try and deal with. Wells comes past and King have still holding on and have now got past, leading the gap away from the rest of the group.
It's important to remember that even though Jamie King was the champion last year and Chris Wells wasn't really there, Wells was vice champion, had far more race wins than King did last season. It's just that he missed a lot of the races. King, of course, only broke his, I think it was about a 3-year win duck in the pit bikes at Three Sisters in race number 2 and 3. And even then, was on the podium a lot, yes, and was consistent, yes, but still couldn't quite find those race wins. Can he find it here, though? About to head onto the penultimate lap of the race, getting the knees down through the final corner. It is still Wells that leads Jamie King and Chris Wells. Fastest lap of the race that last time, 43.289. Jamie King, though, less than a tenth away on the previous tour. And look at that, catching some traffic now. Traffic is going to cause chaos. This could be King's best opportunity to slide through.
It could indeed. This traffic is properly going to cause some issues for the two of them there, as they just need to get past here to continue their battle. King has got quite close to Wells now. Wells just trying to get past that first person in this little traffic jam here, and they are caught up rather severely in this traffic on the penultimate lap. Wells is now past the traffic, ready to continue his fight for first place, and King now, both of them past the traffic and are starting the final lap. Now, let's see what happens during this last lap. Wells holding on to first position, but King is hot on his tail, wanting to take this first win here at Lydd. Let's see what happens. Wells continuing, holding on fairly well to his lead over King. These two have been ones to watch during this race. They haven't stopped their fight and have been extremely close together. Wells leads over King currently with a gap of 0.3 seconds. It is still very, very close between them. Hit some more traffic here, but they've just flown right past, and here we are into the final corner. Who is going to take the win? And it is Chris Wells, with Jamie King following behind him. These two have battled so hard during this race, but Wells has done it and has took the first win here at Lydd after his retirement. Making up our top 10, and they have taken the checkered flag now. We have Chris Wells in first, Jamie King in second, and Joshua French making our top 3 and our podium. What a brilliant race there. You can see them two just having a little nod to each other, recognising the battle that they have just done. Little wave there to our viewers from Jamie King. We are just waiting now to see our top 10 of this race. First place there, he is Chris Wells, 0.3 winning margin. In second place, we had Jamie King. Third place, Joshua French. In fourth place, we had Ben Cotgrove. Fifth place, we had Zach Torin. Sixth place, Harrison Quincy. Seventh place, Ashley Powell. Eighth place, Bailey Lawrence. Ninth place, Rob Shearer. And rounding out our top 10 is Perry Tomsit.
Wow, what a race we've just seen there, especially between our leading pair. Jamie King, once again, doesn't have enough to get through Chris Wells, but still gave it the best go that he could. But it's Chris Wells once again sitting on top of the world, the 62 in P1, the 2023 champion, showing that he has not missed a beat since his last so-called retirement, shall we say. He may not be here all season once again, but when Chris Wells shows up, he always puts on a fantastic show. Jamie King comes home second, and Joshua French coming home P3. Great result for the 116 there, as there was chaos late in the day. And look at that, I don't think he can quite believe that he finished there in third place as he's talking to Jamie King. But race number 1 out of the way, 2 and 3 to come tomorrow. Chris Wells proving he has the pace.
That he did indeed. And now coming out onto the grid for their 8th lap, we have got the MK Mini GP 50R class coming out, ready to take on their first race of this season. Who do you think we should be looking out for here, Ross?
Well, lots of strong riders. We'll run through the grid in a short moment, but it should be very, very exciting indeed. It'll be Sebastian Goslavsky who starts from pole position with Bradley Curtis in second place. Frankie Watson goes up for P3 with Mason Fedrick in P4. Matthew Thomas is fifth with Joseph Cooper in P6, Oscar McAllister seventh, and Callum Maxwell in PA. Only an 8-rider grid out there for this brand new class here at FAB Racing. The Mini GP50R available for upgraded Metrokit Mini GP50s with a 28mm carb fitted, or an Avali 140 or 160. The Avalis, of course, are very welcome and very popular clearly within this class, where we see a few of them making their way onto the grid. But you asked me a moment ago, Izzy, who am I expecting to go well here? I've got to say, it's got to be Sebastian Goslavsky on pole by 0.7 of a second.
He has come to visit us this weekend, hasn't he? And he has come from the British Talent Cup to see us this weekend, but he's there first on the grid head. Right now we are just waiting for this race to start. Let's see what's going to happen.
Absolutely, these riders will be the ones potentially going to the British Talent Cup in the future in the new class here at FAB Racing. Eyes to the lights, and we are a little bit of a jump in the background, but we're finally underway. What a start there for the 71 of Bradley Curtis, who slots in front of Super Seb on the 64 through turn number 1. Goslavsky looks to the inside into the second chicane, can't find anything. Frankie Watson up to P3. He had an off earlier in qualifying 1, but seems to be running okay. Now Goslavsky looks to the inside and does get the move done, reaffirms that lead once more. But let's be safe to say, Bradley Curtis is not going to take no for an answer. He's going to push onwards. The front 3 all starting to break away from the pack.
They are indeed out front currently. We do have Sebastian Goslavsky. Let's see how he fends throughout the rest of this race. Following behind him in second place, we have the number 71 of Bradley Curtis. These are making up our top 2 at the moment. And are we going to see them separating more and more from the pack? Let's see what happens. Bradley Curtis has just put in a best lap time of 45.368 seconds. I wonder what's going to happen throughout the rest of this race.
We'll have to wait and see as they push onwards. Goslavsky starts to push forwards. Message from race control apparently. Let's see what they're saying up there. We've got a start under investigation, so we'll let you know what's happening there as soon as we know. But race control clearly spotting something we didn't. They're not happy with what went down as the light went out. As we see Bradley Curtis a little bit wide there, just missed the apex, missed the mark heading into the final corner. Allows Frankie Watson to bring that gap down just a little bit on the 14 machine. Matthew Thomas as well, not too far behind on the 47. He'll be looking to pounce if he spots an opportunity, but the 71 holding off the 14 as they make their way through the chicanes of the opening sector and down to the hairpin at the bottom end of the track. And this is where the fast stuff starts now. Through these big sweepers on to the back straight, absolutely flat out on these Mini GP machines. Interesting to see that Curtis took a bit of a wider line on the corner entry to the big right-hander there. Did allow Frankie Watson to close in just that little bit more, but ultimately allowed him to gain more time down the straights. And again, we're seeing him running a little bit wide in the final corner as well. I wonder if rather than making a mistake, that's a tactical decision. He's trying to carry more momentum.
Yes, let's see what happens during the rest of this race. We've got a little battle going on right now for second place between Bradley Curtis and the number 14 of Frankie Watson. Curtis is going to want to hold on to this second place as best he can to make sure he can continue and try and gain on Goslavsky for that first place. Let's see what happens in this battle here. Curtis is holding on very well to second place. Frankie Watson is going to do all they can to try and take that second place off him. Getting a bit close here up in that final corner, but no, Bradley Curtis is holding on to that second place as they start their 8th lap.
Yeah, here we go. 8 laps left to run. Curtis still holding on from Frankie Watson, but really tense racing between the pair of them. Couldn't separate them at all. The 71 taking slightly different lines from the 14 as we've been seeing so far. These two battling as well. That's allowed Goslavsky just to disappear away at the front of the race. He's now got a 2.5 second advantage, pending a disaster, pending these two suddenly just pulling something out of the top drawer. He's looking very comfortable as once again, this time Frankie Watson doesn't dive down the inside and actually follows Curtis wide into the final corner. Maybe he's just following him, seeing if he prefers that line. Of course, part of the fun of being the hunter in a battle, being the bike that's following the other, is you get to see where you're stronger and where you're weaker than your opponent. And where you're weaker, just follow them. See what they're doing, see if it works. And if it gives you more speed, it gives you an even better chance of going through.
Indeed, it does. These two, I think, are going to be ones to watch for the rest of the race because, like you said, Sebastian Gazlowski has got a massive gap built up now and he is sat very comfortably in first place in this race. We have had a retirement, Callum Maxwell. He is not currently on track. Let's wait and see what happens between everybody else. Right now we have got a battle going on between Mason Frederick and number 90, Joseph Cooper. And let's see what happens coming round that last corner. Cooper wants to take that 5th position from Mason Frederick, but he's very much struggling to do so. Let's continue and watch these two and see what happens. Frederick holding on, but Cooper is right hot on his tail, wanting to take that position away from him. And we have got 6 laps left to go, but let's keep watching these two. Frederick holding on as best he can into the corner and takes it and holds on to his position. Cooper is following him very closely behind. Cooper wants to take this 5th place from him to give him that chance to get past him and fight some more, but Frederick is remaining quite comfortably in 5th place and he's not giving up on it that easily.
5 laps left to run then. This battle for 2nd place rages on. Bradley Curtis extending that gap ever so slightly on the previous tour. Frankie Watson maybe just recovering and pushing back onwards. Once again, tighter line from the 14 compared to the 71 into the right-hand sweeper, but not really gaining him enough time to try and challenge for a move into the final corner, just too far back. Not quite going to be seeing shades of Jensen Bishop in the Mini GP 70s last year, where he could just brake so much later than anyone else before he unfortunately crashed out of the lead of the race. 4 laps then left to go. Gazlowski's lead up to 7 seconds now. These two battling. He has just flown away at the front of the pack as a result. Yes, he qualified on pole by quite some margin, but when those around you are fighting, it just gives you clean track, fresh air in front, and just allows you to drive away at the front of the pack. It's been a fantastic ride so far from him, but fantastic rides from both Curtis and Watson as they squabble over the podium places. Curtis, though, has looked imperious in his defence. Watson has not found a single gap to try and slide through, and as the laps tick away, it might be like my beloved St Albans City FC's relegation fight. Too little, too late.
Very much so. It could be, like you just said, we've got 3 laps to go. Curtis is holding on to that 2nd place ahead of Watson. Watson is doing everything he can to take that from Curtis, but it's looking like Curtis will take that 2nd place from him. Curtis is holding on to it. Sebastian Gazlowski here, all the way out in front on that number 64 in 1st position, is going to suit him well to take this win here at Lydd at this 1st race. He's just cruising, set himself a very comfortable place here out in 1st, and no real sign of anybody. He's lapped everyone. 2nd and 3rd place, Bradley Curtis and Frankie Watson have now been... Bradley Curtis and Frankie Watson in 2nd and 3rd place, but Sebastian Gazlowski holding that lead out in 1st place, and with 2 laps to go, no one is getting anywhere close to catching up with him.
No, this one looks like it was done and dusted quite some time ago. Gazlowski could come home blindfolded as finally Frankie Watson gets the move done. I may have spoke too soon earlier. The 14 has spotted a gap and slid on through the 71. Now going defensive as he tries to break the toe down the back straight. Curtis looked to the inside. Watson covered it off and then was not able to find a way through. Last lap of the race then. Here we go. Frankie Watson may have just played the patient game and timed it perfectly when Curtis thought he may have had 2nd in the bag. The 14 slid on by the number 71. And, well, that could be done and dusted unless Curtis is able to find a way back through. But up the front of the pack, there's 64, nobody else in sight. To welcome the new category, the 50R to Fab Racing, it's the Super Seb Show. Sebastian Goslavsky dominates the opening race of the season, and the number 64 bike, the class of the field, doesn't even cover it. And Frankie Watson, with a late move, will take second place from Bradley Curtis. What a great battle we saw between the pair of them, but ultimately the 14 played his cards right and came up trumps. It's Goslavsky from Watson from Curtis, your podium finishers. Matthew Thomas brings it home in 4th place, with Mason Fedrick 5th, Joseph Cooper in P6, Oscar McAllister in 7th. Unfortunately, we did lose the 111, Callum Maxwell. But man, oh man, what a race, especially there for the podium places between Frankie Watson and Bradley Curtis. But Sebastian Goslavsky, that is a statement.
It was indeed. Here he comes now round into the pits to take that first place. No one could keep up with him in that race at all. It was a great result for Sebastian Goslavsky and the two in 2nd and 3rd, Frankie Watson and Bradley Curtis. Brilliant race we saw there from them, and it will be brilliant to see what happens throughout the rest of the season between them. But like I said, Sebastian Goslavsky just took the lead, absolutely. No one could keep up with him at all. It was a very interesting race indeed, especially that fight between those two in 2nd and 3rd, Frankie Watson and Bradley Curtis. I wonder what is going to happen over these next 2 races tomorrow. Let's see what happens between these 3, if we have a different grid by the end of the race or if they start.
We're gearing up then for the Extreme 200, what used to be known as the Pit Bike Open class and has since been taken over by Avales. A big grid joining us here of 14 bikes at the opening round in Lydd, and sat on the pole, the reigning champion of this category, the reigning champion of the Mini GP70s. Who else would it be but Wilson Dilks? Been told that there will be no Logan Cousins making an appearance in this race. The number 7 bike was due to start from 7th on the grid, but unfortunately he will not be joining us for the opening race of the season in the Extreme 200. It is the reigning champion Wilson Dilks who starts from pole position, with Harrison Day on the 15 alongside him. Travis Shaw is 3rd alongside the 77 of Taylor Tomlinson. Byron Johnson starts in P5 alongside Harry Payne, while the 4th row of the grid is made up of Logan Cousins and Austin Johnson. Leo Solier starts 9th, with Harrison Quincy rounding out the top 10. Archie Hooper is 11th alongside Henry McCartney in 12th. P13 is Harry Watson, Harris Watson should I say, and Rory Jones, our 14th and final rider on the grid. A big grid here with some big names, Izzy, out there. This could be really exciting.
I do think it will be big names indeed. They are just coming round now to form the grid. Let's see what happens in this race. Like you said, it's going to be an interesting one to say the least. They are all lining up now, and let's see what happens with this race. We are just waiting for everybody to come round and for those flags to be waved. It is going to be an extremely good race here. Let's see what happens here, and we are waiting for that red flag to go to tell us that this race is starting. Here we go.
Problem there.
Oh, we have a little issue.
Seems to be. That was Mason Fedrick.
Mason Frederick.
No, not Mason Fedrick. What am I talking about? That was the previous race that just went on. Whoever was 5th on the grid, I believe that's Byron Johnson, had an issue. Think the bike may have stalled. Got it going again. Eyes to the red lights. Let's go racing. Extreme 200s 2025. We're underway. What a launch from the pole sitter Wilson Dilks. Byron Johnson as well rockets into 3rd place ahead of Harry Payne after stalling on the grid moments ago. But Wilson Dilks already trying to lay down the law. He'll be racing off in Italy at some rounds in this season, so he won't be here all year long. But when he is here, he wants to show the rest of the field how it's done. Travis Shaw holds on to 2nd place away from the line. That, though, from actually, in fact, I believe it was Austin Johnson potentially who went forward. One of the Johnson brothers definitely went up into 3rd place. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, this was going to be a very interesting race indeed. On lap one right now. Out in the front, we have the Wilson Dilts taking that first place. Let's see what kind of a lead he can take here. Will he hold on to it, or will Harrison Day in second take it from him? Wilson Dilks is a very good racer indeed. Let's see what he can do in this first race of the Extreme 200.
Absolutely, of course, Wilson Dilks dominated this category last season. Had a ridiculous run of 6 race wins in a row from round number 2 to round number 4, and wrapped up the championship at the doubleheader weekend at Raura. He is a fantastic rider on the Metric Hit Mini GP70s, but stick him on one of these Avalis and he really enters a league of his own. This is the battle between Austin Johnson and Travis Shaw, so it was Byron that slid up into third place at the start. Austin, his older brother, on the number 27, holding off the 4 so far. Shaw did try and find a way through the exit in the final corner. Nothing came into fruition on that occasion. Just behind them as well, the 77 of Taylor Tomlinson. He wasn't here yesterday, turned up a bit late to take part in Friday's action, but looking to try and get his 2025 off to a good start. Wilson Dilks already a second lead at the front of the pack. Let's see if that gap has extended any further as he crosses the line now. Harrison Day already 1.6 seconds back. It's a 40.510 lap time from Wilson Dilks. Ridiculous pace from the reigning champion. He is flying right now.
Absolutely brilliant indeed. Now, the Extreme 200 lap record currently held is by Charlie Nesbitt, obviously now racing in British Superbikes, and his record is 40.603, and Wilson Dilks has set 40.510. We have a new lap record here at Lydd.
Absolutely new track record from Wilson Dilks, improving on what he could accomplish last year in this category. Let's wait and see if he can push it any faster. This battle between Austin Johnson, Travis Shaw, Taylor Tomlinson rages on as Dilks doesn't improve that time. Still quicker than Charlie Nesbitt's lap time from 2020 though, so he now has 2 lap records, I guess, even though the first one was faster. Best time of 40.510 from the 85, the reigning champion. Back to this battle though. The 27 leads the 4, leads the 77 in this battle for 5th place. Johnson from Shaw, from Tomlinson, all of them very close out on the racetrack. You can hear the chundering of the 4-stroke underneath of 27 Austin Johnson compared to the 2 strokes behind of Travis Shaw and Taylor Tomlinson. Of course, more top end, more punch from the 2-stroke, but coming out of the corners there as Shaw looks to the inside once again of Austin Johnson, couldn't make the move happen yet again at the final corner. Coming out of corners, that's where that 27, that's where that 4-stroke motor really comes into its own.
Exactly, definitely, and all these guys want to fight for that 5th place. We've got Austin Johnson out in front, and then following behind him in 6th we have Travis Shaw. These 2, and then behind Travis Shaw we also have Taylor Tomlinson. He wants to go and get in that position as well. The points and the positions mean everything here for these guys. They want to do the best they can and show off what they can do at this first race. We have 5 laps left to go of this race. Out in first we still have Wilson Dilks. Let's see if he can hold on. He's got a 2-second gap over Harrison Day in second. Following behind Harrison Day is Byron Johnson in third place. It's a very interesting race happening and occurring right now here at Lydd.
Travis Shaw just cannot find a way through Austin Johnson as it stands. He's looking left, he's looking right, he's looking everywhere. And still the 27 holds on to 5th place, doing an almighty job staying where he is under ferocious pressure from 2 very quick riders behind. But Austin Johnson showing his experience. He's a little bit older than Shaw and Tomlinson, has since moved on from FAB-Racing to bigger and better things. Showing that extra time on the track is serving him well as he's able to hold on. These guys will be going to 4 laps left to go now. The number 4 looks to the inside down into turn 1. That's not really an overtaking opportunity unless you're feeling really brave or you're on a Mini Moto. But these guys on the bigger bikes, on the geared bikes, it is hard to make a move down there. The real number 1 overtaking spot at at the end of that long back straight, we've got all the speed, all the momentum, diving up the inside there, or maybe getting a better run on a switchback on the exit so you have a confirmed inside into turn one. That's how you get the moves done here at Lydd. Is Travis Shaw going to get that opportunity now? Draws alongside Austin Johnson. This could be the move, but Johnson forces him to sit up, and the number 4 will have to stay in 6th place once again.
Indeed he will. This battle is still taking place here. And a quick update on the leaders for you. First place, we still have Wilson Dilks in first place. Behind him in second, we have Harrison Day, 3 seconds behind Wilson Dilks currently. And then in third place, we have Byron Johnson. Wilson Dilks has got himself a very comfortable lead right now in this race with 2 laps left to go. But let's see, these 3 are still battling here. 27, Austin Johnson. Following very closely behind, we have Travis Shaw in 6th place, and then Taylor Tomlinson in 7th. These guys are still battling here to take that 5th position.
Yeah, again, having to get through a little bit of lap traffic though. I believe that was Rory Jones on the number 21 as they make their way through. And still, somehow, Austin Johnson holds on to that 5th place. Taylor Tomlinson, though, does get in front of Travis Shaw. There is your race leader. Wilson Dilks starts the final lap of the race 3.5 seconds ahead of Harrison Day, who himself is a country mile clear of Byron Johnson in P3. Harrison Day has had a spectacular ride. Wilson Dilks has been even better. The reigning Extreme 200 champion, the reigning Mini GP 70 champion, has just been in an absolute class of his own. Of course, the Extreme 200s brought to you by Amphibian Scaffolding. Go to them for all of your scaffolding needs. But right now, Wilson Dilks, 1 corner to go. And that is to put the cap on a dominant win. What a way to open the season. The 85 picks up where he left off. And Wilson Dilks takes a dominant victory in the Extreme 200s. Harrison Day with a fantastic ride to bring it home in P2 on the number 15. But it's got to be said, Wilson Dilks was very much in a class of his own. Top 10 coming your way now.
Yeah, so here we go. In first place, we had Wilson Dilks. Following him in second, we had Harrison Day. In third place, we had Byron Johnson. Fourth place, we had Harry Payne. Fifth place, we had Taylor Tomlinson. Sixth place, we had Austin Johnson. Following him in seventh, we had Travis Shaw. Eighth, Henry McCartney. Ninth, Leo Solinu. And then 10th place, we had Harrison Quincy.
Wow, what a race we have just seen in the Extreme 200s, brought to you by Amphibian Scaffolding. And who else would it be but that boy, the number 85 Wilson Dilks, on top once again. Of course, as I've been saying all race long, the reigning GP70 champion, the reigning Extreme 200 champion. The boy is a bit special, to put it politely. Harrison Day, though, a fantastic ride into P2, and Byron Johnson rounds out the podium. The 37 doing a fantastic job. He stalled it on the grid, managed to get it going again before the lights went out, and rocketed into third and made it his own. What a race number 1. They'll be back out for race 2 and race 3 tomorrow. Up next then will be Moto Team getting ready to start their first race of the season. Of course, 2 classes out there on track at the same time. Moto Team Standard and Moto Team Open. And it just adds to a bit of confusion, of course, but it adds to a lot more fun knowing that there's 2 championship fights going on at the same time. But the riders don't care about that. They're out there scrapping for position with people they're not even supposed to be racing, because they're just out there having fun, looking for glory.
They are indeed. We are just waiting now for them to get started on their outlaps to make up the grid for this race. Currently starting the grid in first, we will have Will Howarth. Following him in second, we will have the rider for Team Acme Racing, and then in third place we will have Ian Jackson. In fourth place we will have Phil Joyce. In fifth place we will have Harrison O'Keefe, and then in sixth place we will have Linton Dimiola. In seventh place we will have Malcolm Stein, and then in eighth place we will have Ben O'Keefe, and in ninth place his brother Carrie O'Keefe. And finally, rounding out in 10th, we will have Madison Martlew.
There he is, the man himself, the blonde bombshell, the home county's hero. Call him what you will Howarth has made Moto Team his own the last couple of years. That number 96 bike, it is an absolute monster. And I tell you what, the guy riding it ain't half bad either. A fantastic pole from him as they make their way out onto the track. Of course, Moto Team, the cheapest form of motorsport available in the UK. All you do is you just buy a bike, stick a fairing on it, and away you go. It is cheap, yes, but it is fantastic racing, and it gets people out there onto the track. Of course, if you're racing over in the Free Take Championship, you are able to enter your bike from there into Moto Team as well. If you want a bit of extra track time and fancy giving it a go here at Fab Racing, you are more than welcome to come along as the riders make their way round on their sighting lap, getting ready to show what they can do. We've had a couple of changes this year for Moto Team, of course. This year, for starters, it looks like it will be consistent riders on the bikes, which is great to see. In previous years, because of course in Moto Team it's all about the bike, it's not about who's on it, the team name, that's where it comes from. And sometimes you'd be chopping and changing riders and you had no idea who was on what bike. This year it consistently looks like most of the time it will be the same riders on the same bikes, which makes it a lot easier for us in the commentary box, because we've had it in the past where it just causes utter chaos trying to figure out who's where, who's what. Sometimes you'd have one race of riders on one bike and then they'd be on another bike in another race, and of course they're not scoring any points for themselves in the championship because who's on the bike doesn't matter. But we'll clear that confusion out of the way now. The riders getting into their final grid spots. There is Marco Pandolfo on the number 8 Team Acme bike. They are starting in P2, but on pole of course it is Will Howarth. Who else would it be as they get ready to go away at the lights? Lee Clowes, the flag marshal, getting ready to send the Moto Team guys on their way in 2025. Few rolling forward there. Race control might have a look, but it is Will Howard who leads the way down into turn 1. Pandolfo on the number 8 Team Acme Racing bike, nicknamed the old lady in that machine, holds on to P2. The 27 of Ian Jackson in P3 as well. So it looks like all managing to hold formation away from the lights there. But look at the gap already. Is he Will Howard picking up where he left off, vanishing into the distance?
Isn't he just? He's taken that lead and holding onto it. But in second place, Marco is going to try and follow him as best he can. Everybody seems to be staying quite closely together so far. Here we've got the number 41, Linton, followed closely behind the number 11 of Malcolm Stein. First place currently we do have Will Howarth. He has got that lead and he's holding on to it, but Marco Pandolfo has set the fastest lap so far of 48.175. Let's see what happens here. 10 laps left to go.
I mean, look at the gap that he's already got. Will Howarth disappearing up the road. Marco Pandolfo holding on to that second place, though. Of course, we have to remember two different classes here. So Team Acme Racing, that number 8 bike, in second overall right now. They are leading in the standard class from Ian Jackson in P2 or P3 overall, and Harrison O'Keefe in P4 or P3 in the standard class. Only 3 open bikes here this weekend, one of them being Will Howarth up the front of the track on the number 96. The other one being Malcolm Stein on the 11. They're at P7 overall at the moment, and Gary O'Keefe currently in P9 overall. So if you finish the race in an open bike, you're guaranteed a podium. That's not bad going, to be fair, but it means that in the standard class, maybe just a bit more tense because they know they're fighting for a lot more. If you make a mistake in the standard class, you come off the bike, there's a reliability issue, whatever, you're losing out big time on points because there's going to be a lot more riders jumping ahead of you and jumping ahead of your team in the championship standings. I know it's early doors, but you really got to be thinking about it even at this stage if you want to be mounting a championship fight.
Definitely, like you've just said, this is that first race of the season, but it is important for these riders to get a feel for how their bikes are for them and see what can happen in the future. Right now, still leading the race, we have Will Howarth on the open, but leading the standard, we still have Marco Pandolfo. Let's see what continues to happen here at Lydd. Will Howarth has just ran away from everyone. He's got a 2-second lead on the number 8 of Marco. Very interesting to see what happens between the rest of the riders battling out for those podium positions in the standard.
It is important to note Will Howarth does have the Moto Team lap record here at Lydd, but he's not going to get anywhere near it on that bike. That was set back in 2020 under the older Moto Team regulations, which are more akin to what we see in the pit bike 140s, or what we used to see back in the 200s class a few years ago. Just more pit bike style machines in general. They were a little bit quicker than these bikes are here today. That time was a 43 dead. Will Howarth, his previous lap of 44.9. So you can tell the bikes have dropped back in pace a little bit, but Will Howarth on that number 96 bike, well, I mean, the thing is just outrageously quick. It's in a class of its own, really. Marco Pandolfo on the number 8 Team FAB-Racing bike, doing a fantastic job at the moment, is the Sicilian. As they make their way coming into the final few corners. And there is Ian Jackson, P3 overall in P2 on that number 27 in the standard class. In a little bit of no man's land at the moment. He's got quite a big gap to the number 8 in front, and Harrison O'Keefe behind him. Also in the standard class, so they will be fighting for positions, that gap there or thereabouts as well. Great to see one of the O'Keefes in our class podium already, of course, joining into Fab Racing. Last year, they'd never raced anything before. They saw Moto Team and thought, why not? Cheap and cheerful racing will have a crack, and they've become firm fan favourites and a real staple of the Moto Team paddock, and they are quite amusing at the best of times, it must be said as well, always with a smile on their face. Great to see that Harrison's in a podium position.
It is indeed. 6 laps to go right now. Will Howarth still out in front, getting a very comfortable lead on everybody else. In second, we have the number 8 of Marco Pandolfo, and then in third place overall currently, we have Ian Jackson. But he is currently second in the Moto Team standard. We know there is a definitive podium right now for the Moto Team Open, with Will Howarth in first place, Malcolm Stein in second for the Moto Team Open, and Gary O'Keefe in third for the Moto Team Open. Let's have a look what's occurring on the grid for us.
There we go. There we see the 65 of Harrison O'Keefe behind him, Phil Joyce on the 119, and Linton Di Miola on the number 41. This is both for overall position and class position. 4th place overall, podium place, 3rd place in the standard class. So Joyce and Di Miola will be desperate to try and get past Harrison if they can. And look at that, a fantastic run from Joyce, but he ran a little bit wide. Had to just roll off the throttle a little bit, so he won't be making a move into the final corner on this lap. They'll be heading on to 4 laps left to go as they cross the line now. And the 65 still ahead, and in fact, is his visor up? Wow, bravery then from Harrison O'Keefe. Clearly thinks he doesn't need a visor. Well, I wouldn't recommend that, to put it politely, but again, sometimes the O'Keefes operate by their own rulebook as they head down to the opening few chicanes before getting down to the bottom end of the circuit. Looks like Harrison O'Keefe a little bit stronger on that part of the racetrack than those behind, but on this back section, maybe that number 65 bike just struggling in the fast bit. And was that a move there perhaps from Di Miola on Phil Joyce? No, it was not, but it was certainly a look. Really, when you're in this situation, there's 3 bikes so close together, Izzy, you don't really want to be the one in the middle, because you've got to attack and defend at the same time.
Yeah, it's a very difficult position for them to be in the middle. Like you've said, attacking and defending. In the middle, we have the 119 of Phil Joyce. Currently ahead of him is the 65 of Harrison O'Keefe, and behind him is the 41 of Linton Di Miola. Let's see what happens now with 3 laps to go. Harrison O'Keefe is holding on to that in right now. Let's see what continues to happen. Will Howarth is first overall at the moment. Big lead of 2 seconds over the number 8 of Marco Pandolfo. Let's continue to watch what happens with 2 laps left to go right now. In 4th place, we have Harrison O'Keefe. He's leading away from the number 119 of Phil Joyce. Is there going to be a battle between these two, do we think, on these last 2 laps, Ross? Let's see what happens.
Well, you've got to think so, certainly, going forward. As always, that Phil Joyce dropping down the order, the 119. What's going on there? And that is Linton Di Miola up into second. So Phil Joyce has either come off or had a problem. And I don't think he's going around either. Yeah, the 119 dropping down the timing tower. And I don't think he's on the... yeah, it is last lap of the race anyway. Not for these guys, I don't believe. I don't quite think that Will Houth is quite that far ahead. We'll have to wait and see. He'll be taking the last lap. Or these guys will be taking the last lap when they get to the line next time. We'll have to wait and see. Is that Will Houth, I think, coming through the S's now, maybe? Oh, big launch up the inside there from Linton Dimiola. Wow, what a move to get up into third place in the Moto Team standard class. That was fantastic. There is, though, the race leader. And, well, about 30 seconds after they took the last lap, once again, Will Houth wins the Moto Team. The 96 on a different planet. And Will Houth takes the overall win and the open class win. Marco Pandolfo, the Sicilian, in P2, taking the standard class win. Though a fantastic ride from him. Only 4 seconds off the pace of that number 96. That shows that people are getting a bit closer, because Houth, last few years, he's been winning by 10-20 seconds every single round. It is Houth that takes the open class win. Team Acme Racing with Marco Pandolfo on the bike. He takes P2 and Ian Jackson P3 overall. Who's going to get to third place, though, in the standard class? Or second place, should I say. And it was Linton Dimiola, or third place even, should I say. Linton Dimiola ends up holding off of Harrison O'Keefe. Overall, though, it's Will Houth from Team Acme Racing. From Ian Jackson, your top three.
Let's see our top 10. So in first place we had Will Houth. In second place we had Marco Pandolfo from Acme Racing. In third place we had Ian Jackson. Fourth place saw Linton Dimiola. Fifth place we had Harrison O'Keefe. And sixth place we had Malcolm Stein. Seventh place Ben O'Keefe. And eighth place Gary O'Keefe. In ninth place we saw Madison Marthlew. And did not finish, unfortunately, for Phil Joyce.
Bizarre. Unfortunately, we didn't quite catch what happened with Phil there, but hopefully everything's okay. I think it may have been a mechanical issue for the 119. In terms of the open class, it will be Will Houth taking the win, as well as the overall victory with Malcolm Stein in P2 and Gary O'Keefe in P3 rounding out the podium. In terms of standard, it is Team Acme Racing from Ian Jackson, from Linton Dimiola, your top three. Moto Team, of course, they'll have 2 races coming your way tomorrow, but Will Houth picks up where he left off and continues to dominate up the front on the number 96.
Up next, we are going to have the MK Mini GP 50 Standard first race. They are just coming out now to complete their outlap. We got quite a few of these guys racing this afternoon. Our second to last race of the day, hoping for some exciting action from these guys. Let's see, what do we think, Ross?
Well, what I think is that it's going to be crazy, because we've got a huge grid of 18 riders here in the Mini GP 50s, brought to you by King's 2 Wheel Centre. It's Sebastian Gazlowski. We saw him take the win in the Mini GP50 R class earlier. He's back on pole position once again. Bradley Curtis alongside. Mason Fedrick starts third with Riley Paisley in P4. Jensen Ansel is fifth with Tommy Keats in P6. Caelan Ratcliffe starts seventh with Rex Austin in P8. Josh Perkins is ninth with Emilio Pereira jumping straight from the rookies to the 50s. He starts 10th. That's a mammoth effort from El Toro. Nicholas Dunwoody is 11th with Dylan Terene in 12th. Daisy Polden starts 13th with Seth Hayward in 14th. Preston Baker is 15th with Bojan Blachevsky in P16. Harry James is P17. And rounding out our mammoth grid is Callum Maxwell, P18. And boy, I've got to say, it wasn't close up the front of the pack either. Sebastian Gazlowski on pole by 1.1 seconds. This could be a bit of a walk in the park for him.
Definitely, I'd have to agree with you there. Let's see what he can do from first place on the grid. We are just waiting now for everybody to get fully lined up, ready to go, and then we will see the red lights go out and the racing will start.
It will indeed. Lee Klaus, our flag marshal, ready to set them on their way. Looks over to race control, getting ready for the thumbs up from race director Roger Keys. It is all eyes to the lights. It is lights out.
And away we go. Let's see what happens in this race here for the Mini GP50s. Out front, have we still got Sebastian Gazlowski? Let's see what's occurring there as they make their way round on this first lap. We do have a new leader currently, and that is the number 17, Riley Paisley. But Sebastian Gazlowski isn't going to let him go. Oh no, Sebastian Gazlowski has taken that first position back away from Riley Paisley. Let's see what happens, Ross.
We saw on the grid no Travis Short going from second place, so a bit of confusion there, and a few riders trying maybe to jump the start, but they just all about held on. Paisley, great job to get up into the lead, but unfortunately for him, Gazlowski was not having any of it, slid straight back through, and will try to book his one-way ticket into the race win. So it will be Gazlowski from Paisley, from Jensen Ansel on the 27, your top three. Emilio Pereira up to 5th place. Unbelievable stuff from El Toro, but Gazlowski already disappearing up the front of the pack. Riley Paisley, a little bit of a gap back to Jensen Ansel now in P3, about 1.1 seconds as we continue pushing onwards, and that is a big off there rider down at the bottom end of the circuit. Hopefully everyone is okay, struggling just a little bit to get the bike back up, but on their feet. That is great to see. But yeah, I wonder what's happened there. Hopefully everybody doing okay. I believe, in fact, that was Jensen Ansel, the 22, from 3rd place, has gone down. That promotes Tommy Keats up into P3, and in fact Emilio Pereira as well now sliding forward. It's chaos here in the Mini GP50s.
It is indeed, but Sebastian Gazlowski has got that 1st place, and he's holding on to that right now. Following him in 2nd, we have Riley Paisley, but Sebastian has got that 2-second lead ahead of him. Let's see what continues to happen. They are waving that yellow flag from that rider. Hope everything's okay, but we are still racing here at Lydd. Sebastian Gazlowski holding on to his 1st place, with Riley Paisley following him in 2nd place, and Tommy Keats then in 3rd place. It looks like we've got a little battle going on here between the number 31 of Emilio Perez and number 5 of Mason Frederick. Let's see if Frederick can get that move on Emilio. What do you think, Ross?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Mason Frederick, we know he's pretty handy on a bike, but Emilio Pereira, well, he was the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup vice champion last year. It got so close, went right down to the wire, and unfortunately for Emilio, he just pushed a little bit too hard in the final race of the season, went down, and it did cost him that title, but he's jumped straight onto a gear bike and is fighting for 4th place currently, and if he continues pushing, could be looking at a podium. We'll wait and see what's going to happen there further back in the pack. More action everywhere you look. That is the number 15 of Seth Hayward leading the number 21, I believe, of Dylan Tureen, and indeed he was. Nicholas Dunwoody actually got through Hayward on that lap, so I wonder if maybe a slight mistake from the number 15. He drops back into 11th place. There is 2nd place, Riley Paisley, 5.5 seconds behind Gazlowski, but himself 2 seconds in front of Tommy Keats. Great to see that Riley is performing so well, of course, after that huge crash at Three Sisters at the end of last year. Ended up having to go to hospital, have a few pins put in his leg, but now he's back on the bike and racing hard.
That is brilliant to see. Like you have said, here we can see Sebastian Gazlowski getting that very comfortable lead for himself out in 1st place. He is just gliding around the track right now, making the most out of his car and sitting comfortably without worrying about pressure from anybody else. This is the chance for him, whilst holding on to that 1st, to get a proper good feel for his bike and how it's running for him this season and this weekend.
Yeah, he's running absolutely rapidly up the front of the pack. I mean, he's got lapping 1.5 seconds quicker than anyone else at the moment. Oh yeah, Emilio Pereira, is that lap traffic in fact they're coming around? I think it may be, or was that a move for position? I'm not entirely sure. In fact, it was for position, so Emilio Pereira trading places. And they come together. Was that, I believe, Tommy Keats in P3? No, it was Emilio. Who is that went down? I'm not entirely sure. Josh Perkins on the 30, in fact, who somehow managed to slide on forward. Coming together, loses the front end after contact. Pereira drops to 5th but stays on. But that could be a race over for Josh Perkins on the 30.
It could indeed. That was all very sudden what happened there. But now we have got Mason Frederick up in 4th. So our top 5 currently, we've got in first place Sebastian Gazlowski, second place Riley Paisley, third place Tommy Keats, fourth place Mason Frederick, and rounding out our top 5 at the moment is Emilio Pereira. This is proving to be quite an eventful race so far. We've got a battle going on here between number 31 of Emilio Pereira and 9991 of Rex Austin. Let's see what is going to happen here. Up in number 1 still, we have Sebastian Gazlowski. This is a battle here, though, between the number 31 of Emilio Pereira and Rex Austin is chasing him down for 5th position. Let's see what continues to happen, Ross.
Absolutely. Josh Perkins has remounted the bike and pushed onwards once again. That is great to see from him after a very, very tough 2024. He missed a lot of the year through injuries, unfortunately for him. The start of the year, a broken ankle, missed the opening few rounds, then returned at Three Sisters, had a monstrous weekend racing in the LC40 Elite with 2 wins, and then unfortunately when we got to Rawa, broke his collarbone in practice and missed out the end of the season, but he was running so well, but it's all come a cropper in race number 1. But still 2 more races to go for him this weekend, along with everyone else here at FAB-Racing, so plenty of opportunity for him to impress in the Mini GP50s, brought to you by King's Two-Wheel Centre. Gazlowski from Paisley, from Keats, your top 3. Mason Frederick now has breathing room after that incident between Perkins and Pereira. I wonder if Pereira has knocked something on the bike as a result of that. His pace has dropped right off, and he's under huge pressure from behind. The 991 of Rex Austin looks to the inside, and Pereira plows straight on, able to keep going, still on 2 wheels. He'll push back onwards. Was that a mistake, or is there an issue on that 31 machine?
We will have to wait and see, Ross, but he has just lost an enormous number of spaces, down to 9th now for Emilio Pereira. He has got to work his way back up and hope there is not an issue with his bike. Sebastian Gazlowski still out in first, but let's see what continues to happen. We have got just 1 lap to go now. We are on the final lap with Sebastian Gazlowski right out in the lead, and he has just done a lap time of 42.589. Let's see what happens as this race comes to finish. Second place we have Riley Paisley, and in third place we still have Tommy Keats. Coming round to that final corner now, let's see who will take the win. It is looking like it will definitely be Sebastian Gazlowski.
Yeah, I mean, new lap record there from Gazlowski, 42.589. We saw Dylan Serene off the bike earlier. Hopefully he is all okay and up on his feet, but there he is, dominance defined. Gazlowski, a statement of authority with a commanding win in the Mini GP50s in the opening race of the season. If you've ever staked your claim early for a championship, Super Seb has done it now. A victory of some fine margins. A victory by 16 seconds. Unbelievable from the 64. Sebastian Gazlowski has dominated here at Lydd in the Mini GP50s, brought to you by King's Two-Wheel Centre. It is the 64 with a commanding win here, followed by Riley Paisley in P2 and Tommy Keats rounding out the podium. Mason Frederick was 4th with Rex Austin P5, Caelan Ratcliffe in 6th, Daisy Polden up to 7th at the end. A great performance from the 127 with Nicholas Dunwoody P8, Emilio Pereira recovering to P9, and Seth Hayward rounding out our top 10. Izzy, I mean, I'm almost lost for words. Sebastian Gazlowski, what a performance to open the season with. What a performance indeed from him. That race was... a lot happened there, and a lot I was struggling to keep up with, to be honest. We had people coming off, but ultimately Sebastian Gazlowski absolutely took the lead in that race to take his win. And it was only the first race of the weekend, though. We have got 2 more of this. Let's see what happens, if it stays the same or if everything is going to change. And now coming up is our final race of today, which will be the MK Mini GP70. And it's our final race of the day, the final first race of this season opener here at Lydd. We are just waiting now for the riders to make their way out on their outlap, ready to set their grid positions. Absolutely, this is the premier class for junior riders here at the MasterMac FAB-Racing Mini Bike British Championship. This is the one that the world is watching, because this is where the stars of tomorrow are today. The Mini GP70s is what it all comes down to at the end of Saturday's action. And on the right-hand side of your picture, the number 15 of Harrison Day. That's the man that looks like he's going to be in charge this weekend. Pole position by half a second. As we make our way around, let us run through the grid. As I just mentioned, it is Harrison Day that starts on pole. Travis Shaw from P2 on the number 4 bike. Frankie Watson starts third with Taylor Tomlinson in P4. Logan Cousins will be fifth with Byron Johnson in P6. Leo Soliu starts seventh with Archie Hooper in P8. Riley Paisley and Taylor Davies round out the top 10 with Matthew Thomas and Harris Watson rounding out our grid of 12 riders. Izzy, this could be very exciting. It's the first race of the Premier Series here at Fab Racing.
It definitely will be a very exciting race, as you just said. I think let's just quickly mention the lap record that was set here by Luke Fitcher in 2023 of 40.756 seconds. I wonder if any of our riders here today will be able to beat it, Ross.
We'll have to wait and see. It could be close. I mean, we've just seen Gazlowski take the lap record in the 50s. So maybe someone is up for the challenge in the 70s as well. Harrison Day, he's been supremely confident all weekend since he strutted into this paddock. He's just had this air around him. He looks like he knows what he's doing. But Travis Shaw alongside will be fierce competition. And as always in the 70s, it is a fierce grid. Lee Clowes, the flag marshal, gets ready to send them on their way. The final race of Saturday's action, and it is the big one. It's time to get going in 2025 for the Mini GP70s. The red lights come on, and they do go out. We are on the way. Oh, stalling on the grid. Frankie Watson, all of the bikes managing to get out of the way and avoid him. But that is such a shame for the number 14. A disappointing way to start the season. And amidst all that chaos, that has opened a big gap up for Harrison Day, who got away very cleanly and will hold on to the lead as they come now into the sweeping S's section. Looks like everybody else gets away okay. No one really challenging for moves just yet. Everyone just holding on, waiting to see where they fan out where the race pace is, and then they can start pushing for overtakes.
Indeed they can. Harrison Day had a brilliant start there. Flying he went, and he is now holding on to that first place. Very much a little battle we have got going on there, but everybody seems to have starting to find their rhythm and figure out their place on the grid. Currently we have Harrison Day in first, and following him in second is Travis Shaw, with Taylor Tomlinson hot on his tail in third place.
That was a lovely move by Tomlinson at the final corner to slide up into the podium positions on the inside of Byron Johnson, and maybe, just maybe, he's looking to try and get past the 4 of Travis Shaw as well. Tomlinson is on a charge early doors in this race as they come onto the back stretch. 3 of them all in the tow, trying to push forward. Tomlinson will be too far back, but does look to the inside anyway. Just sees what the grip's like, sees if maybe there's an opportunity. They'll head on across the line. 10 laps left to go. Harrison Day's lead already up to 2.8 seconds. Tomlinson seems to be, at the moment, the second quickest bike on the circuit. If he wants to try and catch the race leader, he needs to get through Travis Shaw quickly.
He doesn't, and he's making the move right now, and Taylor Tomlinson has took second place from Travis Shaw, number 4. What a brilliant move that was. Straight up the inside he went to take that position from from Travis Shaw. He is now making that gap grow a bit bigger, but Travis Shaw on the number 4 is not taking this lightly. He is straight hot on the tail of Taylor Tomlinson to get that second place back from him. Harrison Day still out in first place.
Absolutely, great move there by Taylor Tomlinson, but still under some pressure from behind. Shaw maybe trying to return the favour and return the message to the centre, getting back into second place. Great to see Tomlinson running so well, though. Last year, He would have, by what the 77 standards were, a disappointing season. A former FAB-Racing Rookies Cup champion just couldn't quite get it hooked up, but now straight away fighting for the podium places. There we do see the 14 of Frankie Watson that in front of him. They are fighting down at the bottom end of the pack. I believe that is Logan Cousins on the 7, and indeed it is. Frankie Watson, of course, started high up the grid but stalled, managed to get going again, and on this recovery ride doing a fantastic job. He's now up, I believe it's a P6. Great stuff from him. Up the front, it's still Day from Tomlinson, from Shaw, your top 3. 8 laps left to go here at Lydd.
Indeed, there is. Right now on your screen, you can see the number 36, Leo Soliu. He has got a bit of a gap building on from Logan Cousins and Frankie Watson, number 7 and number 14, making his debut this week. And let's see what continues to happen. 7 laps now to go. Harrison Day still holding on to that first place. He has left everybody else for dust and he's just looking to get his first win back at Lydd for the start of this season. Coming around the corner now, and here we go. We've got a little battle still going on between number 77 and number 4, Travis Shaw, for that second place. Taylor is holding on to that second place for dear life after he took it off Travis Shaw just a couple of laps ago. Byron Johnson on the number 37 is holding on and he's hot on their tails, but he's not quite there to get into this battle yet.
No, not quite just yet, but maybe getting closer. He's been on the back of them for quite some time, but just a little bit outside of the picture, just a little bit too far back, but now starting to catch them. 6 laps left to go, and Harrison Day continuing to extend that gap at the front, now up to 6.4 seconds. Doesn't help that the 3 riders behind him are fighting fiercely, but again, he is in complete control of this race. Harrison Day making the 70s his own as it stands. The number 15 flying at the front, but also flying the 77, the 4, and the 37 of Taylor Tomlinson, Travis Shaw, and Byron Johnson. No moves made into the final corner on this lap. It'll be 5 to go at the line. Look at the accordion effect. All of them squeezing together at the mid-corner before pulling apart once again as they file on out. At any moment, someone could launch a move and make this battle change. At the flip of a coin, it could be a completely different story to this race. But right now, Tomlinson just about holding on from Shaw, just about holding on from Johnson.
Indeed, and Tomlinson is wanting to hold on to that second place for dear life, especially after he took it off Travis Shaw. But Shaw is not going to stand for that. He is going to do everything he can to get back on Taylor Tomlinson and get past him to have second place back. Currently, it's looking like our top 3 are going to be in first place Harrison Day, second place Taylor Tomlinson, and third place Travis Shaw. We have got 4 laps left to go. Let's continue watching what's happening. Still, Taylor Tomlinson, the number 77, holding on to that second place over the number 4 of Travis Shaw. But Shaw is getting closer and closer constantly. He is wanting to do everything he can to take the number 2 position back off Taylor Tomlinson. Behind them is the number 37, Byron Johnson. He is wanting to be involved in this fight, but he is not getting there just quite yet. And Harrison Day in first place has just set a fastest lap of 40.758. These 3, though, fighting for second position, the number 77, 4 and 37 of Taylor Tomlinson, Travis Shaw and Byron Johnson, are still going on. This has been happening for most of the race so far, but Tomlinson is not giving up easily. He's been very defensive of his position.
Harrison Day's last lap was 2 thousandths off of matching the lap record here set by Luke Fitchett back in 2023. Will Flatcap's record fall on this tour? Maybe. No, it won't. A little bit slower on that tour. But just goes to show as he starts the penultimate lap how quick Harrison Day has been so far this weekend. And in race number 1, he is dominating at the front, but it is all action in the battle for P2 and the battle for the podium places. Tomlinson still holding on in front of Shaw. Those 2 were able to pull away from Byron Johnson a little bit a couple of laps ago, but he is closed right back in the 37, hunting for a podium in the opening race of the season as they make their way into the S's. Look at them like synchronized swimmers, all of them sweeping through in a line, but no one able to gain an edge just yet. Little bit of a run there from Travis Shaw. Does he fancy a move to the inside? Does look, but not quite close enough as Harrison Day starts the final lap.
This is very interesting indeed. Like Ross just said, Shaw getting closer and closer to Taylor Tomlinson in that fight for second position. We are on the last lap now. This is the lap that decides our podium positions. There is Harrison Day out in front, leading this last lap with absolute ease. It is going to be an amazing victory for here at the first race in Lydd. And here we go, Harrison Day takes the checkered flag, taking first place at this first race in Lydd. That will be an amazing moment for him, but let's see who is going to take that second position, and it is Taylor Tomlinson with Travis Shaw coming in third. What a brilliant race that was there.
Man, oh man, Harrison Day, talk about introducing yourself in 2025. Victory by over 10 seconds for the number 15. Unbelievable riding on display from him as Harrison Day makes it a fantastic win in race number 1. Taylor Tomlinson brought it home in second place ahead of Travis Shaw by just over a tenth of a second, himself holding on to that podium place by just 2/10 from Byron Johnson in P4. Frankie Watson, great recovery ride to 5th place with Leo Solio in P6, Logan Cousins 7th, Matthew Thomas in P8, Archie Hooper was 9th, and Taylor Davies rounding out the top 10. Harris Watson just outside in P11, and unfortunately we did lose Riley Paisley as a DNF. But Harrison Day stamps his authority down on 2025 in only the first race of the season with a commanding victory. If the rest of the 70s field wasn't watching before, they will be watching now. Harrison Day has just put in a masterclass here in the MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibikes British Championship and takes the win in the Mini GP 70s. What a race. Of course, they've got 2 more to come this weekend on Sunday. Can anybody stop the number 15, Harrison Day?
Well, it has been a brilliant weekend indeed.
Well then, that brings a conclusion to today's action here at Lydd. A big thank you to everyone who has tuned in from wherever you are watching from around the world. 10 races done, all of the race ones done here today. But of course, Izzy, we've got 2 more races to come from every class tomorrow.
We have indeed. It is going to be an action-filled day tomorrow with, like Ross said, another 2 races from every class. It will be very interesting to see what happens. We thank you all for watching, and it was absolutely brilliant joining you today for the first day of racing here at Lydd Circuit.
Absolutely. Join us again tomorrow here on the FAB-Racing or Motorsport Radio social media pages for Sunday's action of the opening round of the 2025 MasterMac FAB-Racing Mini Bike British Championship.
On the road to MotoGP.
1, 2, 3.
FAB-Racing Minibikes British Championship.